everybody. I'm Mike.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Bob. Bob.
And
I'm Seppy. Is that count going up like live in 5 minutes, or is it live for the last 5 minutes? This count like freaks me out. Like, tell me what's going on.
Well, we are now live from our basements because we cover games from the ground up. And of course, we've got Bob, we've got Seppy, and we've got the best/worst end times movie, shows, and video games of all time. And we've got a new format and a new game to talk about. Woohoo!
We do.
all the
Excited
things.
about your excitement, Mike. This is amazing.
I'm refreshed. I took a week off of Whiskey Wednesday. I went camping. I had no signal. I actually left my phone uncharged on my bed for a day and a half, and it felt
Nice.
amazing.
I
So,
bet.
regenerated and ready for Whiskey Wednesday.
You don't realize how much electronics actually pull energy out of you, like until you realize. Take a moment. Yeah, it's great.
Unplug. Yeah.
I try to intentionally force myself to unplug a couple times a year because I am
Like
as
seriously.
bad as anybody.
Yeah, how much vibrating can you take in your nethers? Like seriously, Mike, you should unplug more.
That is a theory that Bob has tested.
Yeah,
Right.
power bottom
Many
Mike,
times.
let's go with this. Yeah.
Yeah, Batteries
Jazz,
went dead, took a whole new meaning. So,
Jazz, if that doesn't get it going for you, I don't know what will. So she said, I hope tonight's entertaining.
Well, that's true. All right. Are you ready?
Brandon's ready to see my list, I guess. I guess my well-known terrible lack of movie knowledge hypes people up to see what watermelons I'm gonna try to hit out of the park today. But I am it did escalate quickly. I got some obvious picks, and that's fine, but I've got a huge curveball for you at the end of that list here.
Mike, here's what Mike does, though. All week, anytime it's a list where he's like, not really sure, all week, oh, guys, this list is going to be really hard for me. Oh, guys, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like just pissing and moaning all dang
Yeah,
week.
we should like post the chat so everybody can see it.
And it's not like we did not decide on this weeks
Like
ago.
months ago. Like
It's
months
ages.
ago.
Yeah.
We've known for a while. Like when Seppy was coming back on for End of the Line Kickstarter, which is funded, we'll get to in a minute. We picked the topic and we knew we were going to be battling. I think the only thing we didn't know is that Bob was going to be here. So Mike had months to do research. And I wonder
prepare.
how many dystopian movies he watched to prepare. Over,
And-
under, on
0.
2.
Well, I'm very sensitive to Mike-ness. Now, number one, everybody knows a million Mike, especially if you're around our ages. And so we don't actually just refer to Mike as Mike. We refer to him as Popcorn Bucket Mike, just for the record. And that is an upgrade from Turkey Mike, because we do not refer to him as Turkey Mike. That is just makes me want to lose my mind.
We don't want
So to make sure that it's fair, because if it's the greatest post-apocalyptic, whatever it is, it must be able to go through a lot of filters to be the greatest. And to be fair to Popcorn Bucket Mike, I wanted to make sure that this was as open-ended as possible. So today we are not as much judging individual apocalypses, but amongst the four of us, trying to pick the warlord of the wastes.
Ooh.
Okay, are you ready for this, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay, so everybody's going to take a turn as a judge, all right? And the judge gets to pick what type of subcategory the other three have to submit an apocalypse into. And then I will keep track of the scores. And so the what ends up happening is the judge then picks the two to face off and which one he wants to then fight the winner. Okay, so that's the judge's influence. But the judge is not allowed to score points during the round. The judge gets 0. So the person who wins a match will get 1. And if you take the entire round by winning 2 matches or being the person who's last standing, you won the first one and then you win the second one, then those will all be points for you at the end. And the person, the 3 people with the most points will go head to head in the final round, with the person with the lowest points being the final judge.
Nice.
Okay, so I feel like we're playing a heavy board game in that you're going to explain all this stuff, and then I'm going to start taking moves.
It's
I'm
really
gonna
great.
Be like, can you tell me how this works?
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm here for this. I'm
Wait,
here
hang
for
on.
this.
Go ahead. Explain the rules again.
All right. So I will be judge.
Okay, Spencer.
I will be judge for the first round, so you can see how it works. You ready?
Okay. All right.
Okay. As judge, I'm going to pick dystopia. So you are all going to bring your best dystopia to this, okay? And I'm going to pick who I want to entertain me in the first one. And since Bob is virgin to these process, I'm going to pick Mike and Tim. And since I haven't seen Tim because he skipped Origins, I'm going to make Tim go first. Does that make sense?
I prefer you say I ducked Origins.
You did.
Like I just was like, oh, Seppy's going to be there. I better not.
Yeah,
you got
you totally
out of Origins.
Yes.
I love your excitement 3 minutes and 54 seconds in. However, we need to do some plugging first, don't we? Don't we need to do some plugging first?
We should.
Yes.
I know. Well, here's the
mean,
thing: is Seppy's funded. He feels safe. He's
Right.
I don't feel safe. No. I'm poor, desperately poor. I feel like my life choices were just slightly less poor because we've already gotten 2 stretch goals in. Oh,
look at that beauty!
yay.
Look at that beauty!
Look at that. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody who's participated. We were explaining before the show had started, you literally elongated my life by making it fun with 70 backers in 70 minutes. Just like
Nice.
Mike, that was just a little bit off from perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I like what you did there, Mike. He's setting you up so that when he crushes you, it hurts less.
I don't know. Am I going to crush him? Are we going to crush him?
I can't wait. I am spinning on the ball for this
Oh
curveball.
my God.
It is.
Yeah, we are so excited. You guys got to play it at Origins. What did you guys think?
It was a lot of fun. It's there's some planning that goes into it. Sometimes your plan does not go as planned.
Scroll down to the example play. People can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just kind of picking a family member and lining them up for what resource you think they might want, but that may not go as
There's
planned.
a whole section. Come on down.
I'm
Don't be
working
shy,
on it.
Mike.
There you go. Terrible things. I'm scrolling one side while I'm trying to scroll this side.
Oh, I understand.
But absolutely ridiculous in the best kind of way. I would say that's accurate.
Here's how to play.
Oh, I see. You're getting my quote now. Okay, got it. But yes, we also, just so you guys know, we do have a tabletop simulator play of this. We released this afternoon. So 1:00 this afternoon, this was live. So don't watch it during Whiskey Wednesday. Tomorrow when you've got nothing else to do. That's when you watch this.
Does somebody want my elevator pitch for End of the Line?
Yeah, we won it,
Of
Seppy.
course.
Okay. Did you ever wonder if the bureaucratic nightmare is of the DMV and the post office died with civilization? Well, guess what? You can find out by playing End of the Line, Post-Apocalyptic Family Survival. The goal is to send your dad, mom, boy, girl, and dog into lines trying to collect food, water, fuel, and ammo and survive the best and worst of the apocalypse. How does that work?
Look at that. That sounded good.
Loving it.
That sounds like another backer just clicked. That's what that sounds like.
If you guys need any details, but I was like, I'm going, I gave you the short bomb. Boom.
That's the elevator pitch, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, a little hook.
So, I mean, I would say that went over better than a fart in an elevator. So, yeah, you're good.
Whoa. Yeah, the thing about 3-player version of this game, it's like a knife fight in a phone booth. It plays a little kinder and less manipulative at larger player counts, which is good.
What is the player count? What is the player count in game time?
Right now, it's if for people used to it, it can be 20 to 40 minutes. It can be really, really short. Right now, it's 3 to 5, with 3 taking longer than 5, honestly. But we are, if we get into stretch goals, I might do enhanced 1 to 3 player mode or 6 player mode. That's an option depending how far we get into the stretch goals.
Cool.
But right now it sings at 4 and 5 players. It gives you exactly what you wanted from the original. And like the original, if you like a smaller player count where the game is more strategic and less chaotic, you play 3 players. You really get to understand why you never want to be trapped in a phone booth with me.
Fair. Fair.
Am I seeing this right? So this is a different box, correct?
It is that. Yeah, that is the actual blocks that people get from the game. What you guys got is the super nerdy in-universe box.
Right.
Yeah, so if you were in a bunker in the End of the Line universe, this is the game of End of the Line you would be playing, and is the one on the billboards during that time. It is also the one that the mascot characters are trying to get you to play. One of the amazing upgrades for this version versus the second version is we brought all the post-apocalyptic violence to life in the most Looney Tunes way by adding 4 mascots: Gas Can, Bullet, Cantina, and Beans. And each one of those has their own sort of character and flavor. If you didn't realize, Bullet is a cosplayer. Like Gas Can is always on board. Tina is thirsty. Cantina is thirsty. And Beans is just happy to be here, just like Tim.
That's me.
This is my favorite part. Please read these quotes, Bob. These are actual quotes I collected during playtesting this year.
I might cry. Why? How is this game so brutal? Who hurt you? I like that one. This made my ex-wife cry.
This made my ex-wife cry is my favorite. That I got collected that one. And there we go.
You got somebody from Indiana to say that. I love it.
Yes. Feed the children of the corn. That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I love the quotes on here as well. Are pretty good.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that movie.
I cannot. When I see these characters like walking along, I can't.
Let's all go to the movie.
Yes, but there's an Aqua Teen version where it turns into a metal song.
Oh,
and that's
it's
the version
so good.
I immediately think of.
Did you hear our version? We did an original score for Let's All Get in Line, which is a riff on that. We are super proud of that. We made you watch that as an inspirational video at Origins. And I know, Tim, I made you watch it as well.
Oh,
it's really good.
You did not have to twist my arm. When you sent us that link, I probably watched it 10 times. So
it is super catchy, and it will get into your brain like a worm. You'll love it.
Oh, you could run for president then.
I was gonna say.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. I think even with my questionable past now, I thought, considering my adventurous life, I could never hold office. I think America would crave me as a president at this point.
Agree.
I vote for you.
Correct. Seriously, no one could hate the orange melon more than me, and his followers couldn't hate anybody more than Biden. So why not? Seriously, I could run.
You could. You're also under 80, which seems to
only barely though. Only barely under 80.
That's funny.
And it seems like you don't have any signs of dementia, so you are perfectly qualified.
Or not qualified anymore, because that seems to be the new qualifier.
At least when you put me up for a debate, I can fake it long enough that you aren't filled with despair. Scroll up for a second. I would like to show you one thing that you're in this. The next stretch goal, which we are less than a dozen backers away from, is Squirrel Holla. In Squirrel Holla, that is the next one. So the first set of stretch goals are to add for the loyal Fight fans and the other people. And so every time we lock one, we fully illustrate it, and so you can see what you're striving for. And so that is where we are.
Squirrel Holla, and if we get a little farther, we're gonna get an NSYNC card. Which everybody needs.
And bye.
Well, everybody. That's who needs it.
Yes, that's right.
Backstreet.
I don't care. They're all the same to me.
Wow, Tim.
Not really.
they
might as well
Mike,
have quoted 98 Degrees. Come on, Tim.
you're
Okay.
right. Also the same to me.
Look, if there's going to be anybody judging, boy band songs, it'll be me. This I promise you.
Oh,
All
boy.
right, that's great. It's true,
You can
and
have
you
it,
know all
Mike.
the words.
You
It's
can have it.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
right.
good. All right. So can you
It's gonna be
scroll
me,
to?
all right?
Can you scroll to the bottommost tier of backer? Backer
Yes.
tiers. Let's talk about these. So of course you can get the base game. Let's scroll up just a tiny bit.
Mhm.
Queer visibility is really important to us. But for economic reasons, unlike Conquest Princess, we can lead with those characters. So we instead added an inclusive family pack. So if folks want to play non-traditional families or include non-binary people, you can make that happen. And Bob, we make non-binary meeples by making them just pure punk rock.
Yeah.
So it is basically the nuclear family, Ozzy and Harriet aesthetic versus Oi!
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 Nice.
Which is really good. So that's in the inclusive family pack. So I know a lot of our parents would like tweens and either hey, we have a lot of non-binary kids. It's over the whatnot. So they can see that the apocalypse, it might be better than what we're living through now. Now scroll down.
Don't worry, the apocalypse can happen to you too.
This is our all-in version. We got mats and an extra box. It's pretty fantastic. Fancy meeples. You get a big discount for getting all the stuffs, which is really, really, really cool. Absolutely. So you'll get all the meeples, all the things. News. And the last one is and I just wanted to shout out to the people who did this. Including the owner of Floodgate Games, if you ever liked Sargrata or Skyrockets or anything, chose to name a family and pick a skyline so that you could make sure that your neighborhood got ended in the game.
Nice.
Wow.
That's so good. That is so good.
You got 5 backers on that. Nice.
Yeah, well, there's only 5. They bought all 5.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, it sold out very early. Very, very early. And
Awesome.
they become a permanent part of the lore and
That's
history of the game. And that's
Very
pretty
cool.
awesome. That's pretty awesome. Thanks again to Ben for and everybody else who stepped up. This is also the second instance that End of the Line as a game participated in people's weddings. Somebody a fan of the original game actually ordered a case, and I normally don't let people do that, so that at their wedding, that was the centerpiece for their wedding, and they gave that away with all our games and so forth and whatnot. That's a fan of Fighting a Box and somebody who's helped us at the booth, Chris from New Jersey. But the last of the 5 backer tiers, somebody had just finished their wedding reception, and that is what they chose to do before going on their honeymoon.
That's awesome, man.
So everybody, family comes in all shapes and sizes, and some of them are ridiculously self-destructive, right, Mike?
Yeah, that is accurate. That is accurate. Sometimes you can win by killing off your own family members.
Yeah.
I heard about
Mike's
that.
not getting mad about all of his people dying. There's something up.
There is something up. It's like people aren't playing a game with him. Yeah. This is really good. So if you scroll down, the last amazing thing about this game, of course, retailers, if you guys have any fans of retailers, we have a special deal for them. This goes over all the upgrades. But the last special thing that you guys might really care about is we have one premium add-on for this one. And that is we're doing a re-edition of the Hedgehog Hop Deluxe. If you've ever seen my deluxe tiles, you know that they are super sumptuous.
Yeah.
We're only making 100 of them available, and we are publishing this with the never-before published expansion, Hopping with the Stars, only in acrylic. So you can play Zarhop, Frankenhopper, and all those added as star backup dancers to your party. And there's a new fancy bag. So fans of Hedgehog Hop who are looking for this to finally come and reprint, we are printing 100 more just as part of this crowdfund.
You, I believe you showed me some of this at Gen Con last year. And
Yeah.
it had me cracking up. I loved it. It was really funny.
Also, you guys have international fans. If you do, this is a great chance for an international fans who normally can't get our games to grab the rest of our catalog too. And so that's what those last two tiers were. And look at that.
Hey, Seppy.
Look at that.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
We got to throw the hearts up for that one.
Yeah.
Got to throw the hearts up.
Wait, hold on. Let's try that again. Tim, one more
Okay.
time.
Oh yeah, I was ready. I was all for it.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna party down now.
I'm here for that one too.
That's because he funded. We're excited.
We're excited. Thank you so much. But the campaign is going really well. The critical reception for the game is really good. You guys liked it. Mike was able to play it without taking off his socks. That was really just like, it was just a whole thing.
Win, win, win.
Listen, I don't know, but I don't have to know. And that's why.
No, he's trying to count all 5 family members.
Oh, I see. I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Excellent. So of course, you guys should check this out. Just go back. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Even at like $35, that's very accessible. That's very affordable. And refresh the pledged amount. Uh-oh, it sounds like you did get another backer.
Oh, thank you so much, you amazing people. Yes. Yes.
I mean, yes, you could, you could check out our video first, but if you just want to go back,
that's what I like to see. 169. Yeah.
That's 169s, dude.
Yeah,
That's right.
That is what we call the board game rundown bump. We got you one more backer.
That doesn't matter. Everyone counts. Everyone counts. It's an indie. Like, if folks are really wondering, like, of course, there are a lot of major, amazing fandoms, Wingspan, Star Wars, whatever it is. And being a member of that fandom is really about connecting with the other fans who love that. And that is absolutely awesome. But if you want to connect with the creator, be an indies fan. Like, I've gone to karaoke with our fans. Like,
nice.
I have them on my fridge. Like, I know what's going on in their lives. Like, if you want to matter in a fandom as a person and be significant, changing lives with what you are doing in a way that is visible, being a fan of an indie game publisher who is, trying to make gaming better, and there's a lot of us, this is a great way to do it. And so, thank you so much.
Seppy, doesn't Mark do all the art in your games?
He's one of 2 of our illustrators. We basically have Graham Judd, who illustrated the Botanist's Guide to Lord of the Rings with his father, who was University of Central Florida, USC, or something like that. And then we have Mark. And so Mark is we have Mark as Hedgehog Hop, this one, and Conquest Princess. And then we have Graham as the original Scroller Die, Processing, and Princess Zero. So, yeah.
I think they did a really great.
How it looks like it's old timey in that video.
That's
very
good. The graphic design and the art on this one, I think you guys really knocked it out of the park. It fits the theme perfectly.
Oh, thank you so much. We studied this stuff kind of hard, and we picked as our focus year 1966. And the characters' bodies are 1966. Their arms are a little 1973, but it translates. It's a modernized version, so it's somewhere between Schoolhouse Rock and Let's All Go to the Lobby. And it is absolutely fantastic. So one of our, you guys can have a sneak peek of one of our unpublished games, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to this one. You can see when I overdo prototypes, they can get crazy. This is one of the characters to pick from Infernal Developments, and Infernal Developments is about renovating hell, and our artist sent me a version, and I love this. That on the banner to hell it says "Welcome Boomers."
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Wow.
That's so good.
So not appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
No.
And
Sign
I'm like,
me up.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so this game is pretty hysterical, at least conceptually. We have we got. Let's see if I can get my camera to behave and show you where it is. Come on, you gonna do this? You gonna do this?
Is the banner?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. It's too close. So
That's
this
all
is the reflecting pool in hell, and the actual. There's a whole buddy. There's a whole buddy story that goes on in these between an imp and like, where do angels go on vacation? Angels go to hell to smite people like an action like Safari, and so that whole story plays out in this original prototype as you are doing various things and trying to knock other people's developments and souls off of their. Yeah, it's
I love it.
It's pretty high concept.
Oh my God.
If we ever get a chance to go to it. But that's the example of the other art style. The reason I wanted to show you that is so you guys can see what our other artist has got going on.
The only
Very
way
cool.
it could be better would be if it was like a Hermanius Bosch, like full on, like crazy, oil painting.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Well,
But-
if you want to see the full version and the immersive version of it, you guys got to see this at Origins. There is the Princess Zero comic book comes with Conquest Princess. It's crazy. It's really beautiful.
So I
That's
want to
good.
make sure we get all of our plugging in here. Of course, End of the Line, designed by Seppy, which is Fight in the Box. So I've got the link in the description to how to find you guys. You guys have a website. You guys are on Facebook. And of course, Seppy's designer tips of the day are fun to watch on Facebook.
Yeah, 15
little short.
seconds that will make you regret your decisions to
Become an
to
indie
do
game
YouTube short.
designer.
Yeah, they're all cautionary tales. Like, don't do this with your life. Like, go back to being an adult. This is what happens when you reverse Peter Pan.
I love it. I love it. If it's not too tacky, I would promote three things that aren't Seppy, but they are independent designers.
Please do that.
Once Seppy is finished, because End of the Line, you are here for that limelight, and I do not want to step on that.
No. All rising tides raise all boats, Tim. If
For
we
sure.
can help any other indies, I think that's amazing. People do not have to just support me, but if they always think you're like, okay, I did this like mainstream thing, can I also sneak in this? Because like I'm a rounding error for something that's like anything Simon, right? Like,
Well, but hey, sometimes rounding errors turn into like millions and millions of dollars.
yeah,
It's like
One
Office
of those
yeah,
one of those
Yeah.
Monday details.
yeah.
Next thing you know, you're hanging with Michael Bolton. Not that one,
Not
but
that one.
the other Michael
Yeah,
Bolton.
or we're trying to make Superman less psychotic. That's too deep cut. That's too deep.
I'm here
cut.
for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So anyways,
Rounding
I'm
error.
just going to show off a couple of cool things that were brought back to me from Origins since I ducked it. We know Kim Breeze.
Hey, what's up, Kim?
Breeze.
What up? She's the bomb. You need to be checking out anything Kim does. And if you ever see her at a convention, just say hi, because she's going to be the nicest person you could ever meet next to Seppy. So anyways, our friend Jeff has got Vrahode coming soon. It is like a dungeon crawl campaign system, right? Bob, Mike, you guys checked it out, got to see it in person.
We did.
Kim Breeze actually recommended this one to me, but I got this Trash Dash pin. We're getting I think we're going to get a prototype. We're going to get to do a video with soon.
The illustrations for that are spot on. They are so good.
And I've been talking to the dude behind that. Very excited. He seems super cool. But of course, if Kim recommended him, he was cool.
Oh, she's in cahoots with Parker. Just don't even think.
Oh,
that
yeah.
She's in cahoots with Parker.
And let me
Cahooter.
see. Seppy, your end of the line game is almost the perfect size, but it's a little too big for my Envy fanny pack that I got here. So end of the line almost fits in here. Oh, wait.
I don't
Sideways, it should, right?
You
I
put it
don't
in like a
feel-
normal person, it might fit.
Hush your mouth.
Right.
I don't feel bad that my junk doesn't fit in your tiny pouch.
Listen.
That's right. Tim's gonna lube it up and just squeeze it, shove it in there. There you
Get
go.
that.
dude. That's
You got a
sauce
hot
right
Tua
there.
on that first
The
one.
hot Tua.
See?
Did you go?
Right in. There you
Pop two
go.
of that sucker.
That's right.
Spit on that thing,
Oh
and now
my
it is
God.
in there.
I slipped into your fanny pack so
You did.
tightly. Oh, so good.
Run to
Very
that.
tight fit there. Wow.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
and here's the thing: is it is a satisfying level of full, and not being without being overstuffed.
Overstuffed.
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here we go. Please
Are you not
check out.
entertained?
Yeah.
Jackson, I hope this did not drive your day down. I know you had a bad day. I hope this elevates our immaturity. Yeah.
And I did bring downstairs one of the beers that friend of the show, Jim Cole, sent, but I haven't cracked it open. I was waiting for him to come
Mm.
on and comment. I'll crack it open in front of him.
Oh, wow.
I already
You're
cracked
waiting
mine
on
open.
him. Oh,
Local buzz. That's pretty
wow.
sweet.
Nice. I actually drank 2 of mine while camping, so
Nice job. That's what you do while camping.
Yeah.
that's
Unplug and-
exactly right. I did a
Unplug
lot
and
of
drink
that.
good beer. Unplug and drink a good beer. That's amazing.
I actually drank so much the first day that I really laid off like the last few days. I'm like, I don't need any more day drinking. This is bad for me.
No more day drinking is bad for you. All right. Okay. Are we on to the
Let's-
main event
let's
now that we've done
Yes.
all this necessary capitalism? I desperately need it. Everybody, thank you so much for at least listening to our pitch.
Well, we got you one more backer at least. And,
No, it's incredible.
and that gave Mike plenty of time to look up what the word dystopia
Finish
means.
watching Dune and see if he wants to put it on his list.
No, like seriously, if you ever think you want to make another Human's Day, if somebody's got a campaign going on and it's anywhere in the middle of it, you will have raised a smile and somebody's spirits. If you like, it's great. Like after the first day, for an indie, every backer is such a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, all just building up towards that end thing, and anything you could do, like if you liked the video that you saw with the dancing, the meat resource mascots, please send a friend who is dodging all social media because the election cycle has already began and they just don't need the stress. So if you know somebody who's already in a bunker, send them this so that they know. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
I need to get the number one prepper podcast had actually picked up the original End of the Line, and I need to see if I can find them again to get that to happen.
Nice.
Yeah. Did we talk about fantasy football people? Are you guys fantasy football people?
Yes.
Very
Mike-
much so.
Mike is obsessed with it. I do it
Tim
casually.
Devils.
Mike, then you know who Paul Charchian is?
Oh.
He's the godfather of fantasy football. He's the one
Oh,
who
wow. Back
he's
before they were using the internet to
No,
keep
he's
track
the
of
one
their
who
teams.
came up with the site that tracks everything for the internet, and
Oh,
he's
wow.
the guy who, if you have you need your league to store all the money, it's his site that does that. He's got 2 radio shows, one in Minneapolis and one in Chicago,
Nice.
and he is a massive fan of End of the Line and
Nice.
Conquest Princess. So yeah,
That's
I,
awesome.
I'm gonna have to bug him to pimp out this thing as well, just to
Now-
remind him, like, hey, Paul.
I may not be quite as big of a fantasy nerd as he is, but I will say I do a second podcast for my fantasy football league. So
Well, yeah, no, he's got a radio show that's sort of like a
Nice.
podcast, but has 50,000 people listening to it.
Yeah, Mike. So calm down with
You
your
should look him
little-
up. You should see
your
who
little
he recommends
podcast.
every week.
like
Yeah.
3 views for every
It's
video.
great. No, Paul is a great. He's also local here in the cities, and so yeah. So you
Nice.
fantasy football nerds, just know The Godfather
Very
Fantasy
cool.
Football loves it. Loves this shit.
You know,
Yeah. All right. Are we ready for this?
let's get back into it.
All right. The
Already
goal
trouble
is to win the title of Warlord of the Wastes, and you do that by winning the final round. To get to the final round, you need to be not end of the line, because end of the line gets what, Bob?
Nothing.
Nothing. End of the line gets nothing. So I'm going to be mayor for this round, and so I'm going to choose the first topic that you're all going to present on. And the topic that I would like you to do is give me your best dystopia. Okay? And we're going to let Tim go first, presenting which on his list is the best dystopia. And then we're going to let Mike rebuttal. And then I'm going to choose one of them. And then, Bob, you're going to see if you can dethrone the winner.
Okay.
So,
all right.
The best dystopia, as in like the best one to live in?
No, we're presenting the best or worst end times. We're not trying survivability of it. You can make any kind of argument. You're like, this is the best dystopia because this is the one that I would want to live in, or the one that I would flee rapidly, or whatever connection. You're going to make an argument for, as Warlord of the Waste, why this is the best dystopia. Most terrifying, most interesting to live in, most one that has the most free expression of love. Whatever your answer is, I will hear all arguments and then judge. Okay, Tim.
You ready, Mike? I'm watching Mike process this, not to name drop another game of Seppy's because he's processing.
Yeah.
But okay. So
you are allowed to choose movies, board games, or TV shows.
Oh, so board games are allowed. Okay.
You can. You just got to make a strong argument for movies, board games, TVs, video games, any of these that I can experience.
Wow.
And you're obviously you're speaking to me as a judge,
right?
Because I am judging this round. It's not only dystopias, but an argument that Seppy would like get behind for number one dystopia. And we're gonna hear three. First is Tim's.
Okay. So seriously, the number one dystopia is near future Detroit. The crime is so bad, corporations, Omni Consumer Products has taken over the police force.
You're going with RoboCop early.
Trying to take over the police force. Here's the thing. Crime is so rampant. People are doing whatever they want. It's not even safe to go to gas stations. So what do? You get a police officer out there that is judge, jury, and executioner. He saves the mayor. There's Ed 209 walking the streets. I mean, come on. You've got Clarence Boddicker you've got to take down. Listen, RoboCop is a childhood favorite movie of mine. I grew up on RoboCop. I love it. It made Peter Weller, like I saw him in that and Buckaroo Banzai. They were like, he was one of my favorite actors as a child. Anyways, so I got to go RoboCop because what is dystopia if not corporations trying to take over big city infrastructure?
This is a person who knows the judge. Tim has hit the judge.
I learned from last time.
Straight in the fields. All right, Mike.
I learned from last time. Kim, I know it's early, but RoboCop was the first dystopia I wrote down. And when Seppy threw the rules out, I'm like, I got to come out swinging, and I got to swing hard.
It's really good. Obviously, it's got Detroit in it.
Dystopia.
Yeah, it's got Detroit in it. It's got a slow slide into dystopia. I really love that. It's got
robots. It's got cyborgs.
It's got robots. It's got cyborgs. Why the inevitable machine revolt will be so bad. It's got amazing catchphrases like
"I buy that for $1."
And that guy would then, of course, take that success and make Starship Troopers. That is fantastic. Mike, what do you got that would be RoboCop as a dystopia?
Well, I don't know the last time that you've been to Detroit.
Kid Rock's still there.
I mean, if we're talking about Well, no, I don't know about that. He's somewhere in the rural hills of northern Michigan in his double wide. And I'm not even. That's actually true. He does live in a double wide. He lives in a modular home. But I mean, clearly the best dystopia would be one where you don't even realize you're in a dystopia. And that's why one that's pre-programmed to be perfect reality is what I would want. And that's why I would choose the Matrix. I mean, first of all, we've got amazing clothes. We don't even know how much they cost. I mean, how much are clothes in the Matrix anyway? But you don't even realize that you're in the dystopia. You're part of a program that was already predetermined. And unless you take the right colored pill, you're gonna stay in that blissful ignorance of this perfect kind of society that you don't even realize doesn't actually exist. So, I mean, how is that worse than being part of an oppressive, black-ruled society? Like, nobody wants that.
You're still being oppressed. You just don't even know it. You're
all right, Mike. Is that your full? Mike, is that your full argument?
I would much rather not know I'm in a dystopia than realizing I'm in a dystopia and then not being able to do shit about it. That is
Hold
my
on.
final.
I'm just going to quote one more RoboCop line for Mike.
And this is your final rebuttal, Tim.
This is a deep cut. Bitches leave. That's it.
All right. Now I'm going to give my analysis of these two. All right. Mike's pick is correct, but Tim's argument and delivery is better. So I'm going to give it to Tim, because if Mike had mentioned the most important thing about the Matrix, which is it is an allegory for trans people and made by trans people. If you had put that, I gave you 3 instances. As for queer representation, knowing, like, if I had to choose between Detroit representation and queer, you had 3 opportunities to pander to me, Mike. And you did not let me be seen as the judge that I am. So for playing the judge, that win go. But by the way, Mike, just so you feel good, The Matrix was on my list as well. I think The Matrix is an amazing choice for all the arguments that you said, plus the fact that it is actually an apocalypse. It's simultaneously an apocalypse, a post-apocalypse, and a dystopia all in one. And if you had mentioned that argument too, I would have said, you are so smart, Mike. We're just gonna make that shit happen. But for doing the homework and pandering so heavily, it has to go to Tim.
Listen.
Well,
why do you think I'm so good at networking, guys?
Yeah, seriously. Tim gets the first win for dystopia.
He's got hot sauce in his fanny pack,
he gets He gets the big D. Now,
I mean, if this is how it's going to go, I'm not going to do very well because I'm terrible at pandering. I tell it how it is.
No, you're great. You can think of, these other two well. And like I said, having been kicked out in the first round, it's highly likely, Mike, that you'll be the judge in the next round. So think about which category you're going to go with. And honestly, Mike, I don't think you should sell yourself short. You are the guy who came up with the autopilot in airplane is a robot. And that is a brilliant mind, Mike. That is a brilliant mind. So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short.
No booing Seppy. You're allowed to boo anybody else here. You're not allowed to boo
me. I really want to cheer Tim, though. I really want to cheer for Tim for putting in the time and making me feel seen in all the right way. But honestly, I need to acknowledge Mike's pick. Mike's pick is fantastic. But even the best lawyer with the best argument can fail with the worst lawyer. And
if Verhoeven was making a movie, if he was making RoboCop today, there would be queer representation, I guarantee, because Verhoeven loved to push the envelope. In 1987, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, Mike got robbed.
This is Mike all week. Oh, I don't like the topic. Oh, I didn't win.
Mike did get robbed. I 100% agree. And that is what makes this. The ability to rob others is really important if you're going to be warlord of the wastes.
Bobby, can you call a wambulance for Mike over there in Elkhart? Can you get one sent over? Make sure they got extra tissues.
I want the chat to know that I too
for
understand that Mike's pick was better, but Tim's argument was better, and it's the argument, that personal touch,
that's right,
that made it happen. All right,
Bob.
When you can't argue the facts, you argue like to the judge, right?
This is also an argument. This is
now.
also like an example of our dystopian election that is happening right now.
Exactly.
So.
No doubt. Except I did say factual things, which is
actually
you are
true. Yeah, that was actually true. All right, Bob. Can you unseat Tim
I'm not sure if I can
take the win?
That level.
Take that win.
But nothing really says dystopia to me than like being over budget and underperforming when you're supposed to. However, I would love to live in a world covered in water, so it's endless sailing. Water world.
As a dystopia?
Yeah.
No, it is a wasteland. No, it is not a dystopia. Dystopia, like Mike had totally landed it. A dystopia is a recovery after it. It is a system that you don't realize the solution is broken. The win goes to Tim. The water world is not a dystopia.
What? Thanks for taking it easy on me on your first
time. Oh my gosh.
It's an apocalyptic. Bob, if you use that for apocalypse, you'd have had a
Yes, it is clearly. Okay, so Tim's going to get the W, and our judge for disqualifying themselves for the second round is going to be Bob. Bob, you are judge.
Well,
because Tim, you get the Mike, you get the second. You're second place for that round. So if there's a tiebreaker, Mike, that's going to be you. So good job for that, because you were robbed by Tim's charm.
Every once in a while, boys.
All right. What subgenre of post-apocalypse, Bob, are you going to put up as a judge? And if you need like examples that you'd like to hear about, I can give you a lot. I love it as a genre and subgenre. I can help you out with, but dystopia was a hard one, and so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go with the wastelands then. Right. So
yeah. All right. Who do you want to hear from first?
All right,
I would choose Mike for the chance to get most points.
Yep. Set the bar, Mike.
The best wasteland?
Yes, best wasteland post-apocalypse.
Don't say water world.
No, I'm not.
That's pandering. You should totally do that.
I am susceptible to bribes. Just buy me a nice RV, maybe pay for my mom's house.
Yeah. Like, do what you got to do to win. That's what a warlord.
No, wait. Doesn't Bob pick who faces off, or is it automatically Mike and I, and then you come in last?
No. Bob will get to pick who's after Mike, but he let Mike go first, because that means Mike has the chance for the most points.
This is me just being Spencer and asking about rules that you already explained earlier. So that's all right.
No, yeah, he could do that now. Bob could have the choice to announce who he's going to face off against. Bob, do you want to say who Mike's facing off against? Because you're going to pick.
Or you can wait.
No, we'll go against Seppy, and we'll let Tim do back cleanup since he had the first round victory.
All right,
there we go. Respect that.
Well, this will come as no surprise, but when it comes to the best wasteland, I feel like the best wasteland is one where I get to make some decisions. I have some agency in what I get to do when I approach the world, and that's why there is no wasteland better than the Fallout wasteland. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you choose Washington D.C. post-apocalyptic. It doesn't matter if you choose West Virginia or Appalachia wasteland. It doesn't matter if you choose Diamond City, aka Boston, as your wasteland. All of them have a very simple premise. We all brought bombs from above, destroyed it, and we had a decision to make. We got approached by Vault-Tec. You want to save your family or not? Well, any decent person is going to go ahead and reside in that vault, bring all their family members with them, and live in the blissful ignorance that is offered underground. Then, only then, once the bombs have created their havoc and the world has been rebuilt, do we come back out of those vaults using the experiments that were used against us to our benefit to go out into the world and rebuild? But how do we rebuild? What do we rebuild with? Well, of course, anything that you can find. But, whether it's a rail gun or, you make a mini gun out of electron surges, that sounds fun too. But if you want to lay waste to people, Fallout's going to provide you with that option. Not only does it do that, it's going to bring us back to a time where the American dream was alive. It was alive, I tell you. What was in the mid 1950s, where, by the way, the greatest cars of any generation, as we all know, came from the mid to late 50s. So going to see these cars, as rusted piles and remnants of civilization before, give me my fusion minigun, give me my rail gun, give me my pipe pistol. Let me lay waste to anybody that wants to bother me and give me a shitload of caps for doing it.
Okay.
Bring on the robots, too.
Mike, I am singularly moved by your argument myself. I think Fallout is an amazing choice. It was also on my list. You and I are in sync for a lot of these things. It's fantastic. Talking about the apocalypse being a place of opportunity, I love all of that. But when I think of a true hellscape that would appeal to Bob, it is Life on the Wheels. And nothing says that as much as Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road is the hellscape. Like, if I think wasteland, I'm putting the waste in wasteland. And not that your wasteland isn't amazing. It is a place of opportunity. But my wasteland is so desolate, you can't get addicted to water. And not only that, you have an entire character journey about, just like the Hobbits, because it's about going out there and coming back again in 90 minutes. It being the single most metal example of a guitarist in a car chase ever, I put
so
forward as the best wasteland pick, Fury Road.
Man, that is tough. Now, Mike, I do have to ask you, by decent person, do you just mean the rich people? Is that what you're trying to say about the Fallout vaults?
I mean, last I checked, in the 50s, the American dream was alive and well. We didn't have the separation of classes as
That's
we
fair.
do now.
For white people.
Working class citizen.
For white people.
Working class citizens were affording those vaults.
They are, because California and other places were giving them free college educations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to be a thing.
It used to be a thing. Yeah, it's just a thing.
Oh, man.
Do I need to...
Mike, I'd love to give it to you. I do love the Fallout music, but Mad Max Fury Road was on my list also. So I'm going to have to go with Seppy.
I guess we're just driving real fast and turning left.
All righty then. Woo!
That's gonna be a tough one to beat.
As long as I get my best argument out, I'll be okay.
Mike, if it's anything, I like your picks and my picks are matching up. I'm just saying, it's fantastic. I like what you're picking.
I didn't even bother writing down Fallout because I knew Mike was going to have it.
Yeah, it was my first one. I was like, man, I'll let Mike have that one.
The chat is on board with you, Mike. Just so you know, the care.
The people are
what
with you.
The people are
The
with
judges
you.
are
Mike,
bought.
Mike is basically the Rock right now. He is the people's champion.
He is.
That's right. Can you smell what Mike just let go over there?
All right. Okay, Tim, what are you bringing
All right, Tim.
against Furiosa and Fury Road?
Here's the problem: is that I believe there is going to be some, just some counter, some negativity based on the level of pandering that I'm about to do. And so I think Bob is going to metagame this and not want to pick it, even though I know him. And this will show how well I know the judge.
That's amazing. I love it.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
can you imagine a better or worse apocalyptic wasteland than having to walk through the United States, which has been desolated because Raccoon City has been destroyed? And we are going with Mila Jovovich in Resident Evil 3, the movie Extinction. And we are trying to find safe harbor and supplies as we are trying to take down the Umbrella Corporation. Mr. Hooper, I challenge you to find somebody that could pull at your heartstrings or your libido harder than Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, I mean, damn it, Tim.
I am your weakness. I am all of your weaknesses. I know all the things you love. I will use them against you.
That's funny too, because I was even saying, okay, if he says Mia Jovovich, I'm gonna have to freaking give it to him because I mean, she's my fifth element. You know,
all right, Tim gets the win for pandering with Mila Jovovich. Two pandering
is real.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Good job, Tim.
Well, once Mad Max came off the board, I'm like, okay, it's got to be Resident Evil.
All right. That is fantastic. Now it's time for Mike to get his revenge. Mike is going to be judge for this round. Mike, which category of apocalypse would you like to cover? Like, I can give you some suggestions if you want, or if you want to do your own subgroup, either way. But right now, Tim has had double wins with you and I tied at second. And now it's Bob's chance to get on the board.
Okay. I'm going to go with one that's near and dear to my heart, because I had a conversation with the guys earlier this week about how some of these movies suffer from gigantic plot holes and they lose me. So I want someone to provide me with the most realistic in-time scenario.
Oh, you are so good. Mike, you and I are speaking each other's unspoken language today. You and I are in sync. I love it so much.
Standpoint.
Oh, realistic apocalypse. Oh,
Give
so
me
scary.
A realistic end-time apocalypse scenario that I can actually see.
All right, who are you going to pick first for this much needed? Because we saw that people are picking things from other people's lists. Who do you want to go first, Mike? You're the judge, and who are you going to send them up against?
Oh, yeah. All right.
I believe you meant to say, "Ooh, yeah," and then I'm gonna, and it's gonna be them versus them, and it's gonna be that.
Whoever wins is gonna be the cream rise to the top, brother.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Bob and Tim face off.
All right.
Who's first? Who's first?
Tim's going first.
Okay, Mike. I'm going with the most realistic one. I'm appealing to that because I know you haven't seen this movie and you might find this movie boring, but I don't care because it is one of my favorite science fiction, dystopian, like real life apocalypse movies. You ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
So the apocalypse doesn't come in the form of like a nuclear bomb or, you know, things like that, or zombies. People, for no discernible reason, stop having children. Nobody is having children anymore. And the population is dying out because they're aging out. And then there's like a whole the beginning of the movie, there's like a whole thing where everybody's gathered around these TVs because the world's youngest person, who was like 20 or 21, just died. And he was the last child born. And that's how severe this was, is that everyone knew literally this person was a celebrity because they were the most recent child born.
Can I say the title?
Please, Seppy, please.
Child of Man? Is that Child of Man?
Children of Men.
Yeah, Children of Men.
Oh, this movie is so fucking good. I'm just going to break the swear word barrier right now. This movie is so... It's got Michael Caine. It's got the British actor. He's so good and everything. It's got Julianne Moore. Anyways...
These are all words that don't work on Mike.
No, they don't. But I love the reality of the apocalypse being that for some reason, people stop having children and nobody can explain it. Right. I'm not going to give away the twist in the movie, but that is the thing. Nobody's having babies anymore. And then the world is just declining because there's this. Thank you. It's Clive Owen. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
The world. Yes, sir.
Are they still fornicating?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you can't make babies.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not that depressing.
So wait, they just become sterile?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
But the whole world, like, there's this like overhanging cloud of devastation because you know that eventually the human race is going to die out. And like, again, it's significant that they know who the youngest person in the world is, right? And they die. And it's this big, you would have thought that like Princess Diana just died again, right? I mean, that's like the thing. Everybody is like, people are openly weeping, but then there's also like terrorist stuff going on. The movie's great. It is a slow burn of slow burns, but man, it is fucking fantastic. And it has one of the best long take escapes I've ever seen in a movie. It's so good. Anyways, that is the scary and what felt like to me the most real apocalypse. Like, just for whatever reason, and nobody can explain it. They can't even get into the science of it. It's just this horrible thing that is just lurking over the entire movie. And the movie's not even really, it's kind of about that, but it's about other things as well. But that scenario is so devastating. It is so devastating. And yeah, it does have one of the best single oneers, of any movie, going back to either Goodfellas or the Orson Welles movie with the long walk and the bomb. Oh, it's so good. Touch of Evil. Touch of Evil also has an amazing.
Oh my God,
that's a good
choice, Tim.
But anyways, Children of Men.
I'm excited to hear what Bob has to come up with. Like, Tim, that is a great choice. I just want to just commend you for.
I went with realism. Mike. I got to go with realism.
And I got to commend Mike for picking a great like subgenre for.
Don't start pandering yet. Hang on.
Is great.
You're up in a little bit.
No, he's fine, Bob. He's fine.
Yeah, it's Seppy's turn in the glory hole later.
You know.
Why do people keep on saying that to me? Why do people keep on saying that?
Quit being so good at your job.
Tim, okay, sort of, but the real truest one is actually already happening, and we're already living in it. The visionaries back in 2006 had the foresight to make the movie Idiocracy.
That takes place 500 years in the future.
Well, they're off by a couple of hundred centuries. But everybody has been dumbed down. They poop in their chairs. They feed the plants Gatorade because the electrolytes is what they crave. Mm-hmm. And it's happening already. We're electing TV stars to be president instead of going on ability. It's the smartest people that we have are the people that were carbon frozen back in the 90s, and we're thawing them out now and saying, help us, save us, Generation X. So, hopefully.
That is an excellent pick. Also on my list. Now, Tim's was so good it wasn't on my list, and I should have thought of it, but Bob's, yours was also on my list, and I would have picked that for this.
Idiocracy was the second movie I wrote down because it's like we're living it. We're living
out of the comedy into the documentary. Yeah.
Mike, are you ready to hear my argument?
Wait, he's got to pick between us first, right?
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Seppy's champing at the bit. He's ready to go.
Now, I don't know if I'm going to win against these. These two are amazing, but I'm excited to see what Mike picks.
I know
Yeah,
Mike has
I
seen
mean-
Idiocracy, so I'm going to lose. It's fine.
I haven't seen either of those movies.
Oh. Well, then
and-
there's a chance.
While I will say that fornicating without consequences sounds like a great,
Calm down, Mike.
in time.
Calm
Yeah, there's still
down.
consequences.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
STDs, consent. I mean, come on, man. Calm down.
Okay.
Your Duke lacrosse
Consent
is
is
showing.
sexy.
Hey, hold on a second. This was
Sorry.
assumed, all right.
Okay.
So, while that does sound, interesting and realistic, I will say Bob's right in that what he said is already happening.
Uh-huh.
And thawing out people from the 90s is probably going to get us better presidential candidates than what we currently have. So we are actually currently living the end times that Bob picked, and he is therefore our winner.
I knew that
His is the most realistic. Yeah,
I knew that from the
love it.
jump. I knew it from the
Yeah.
jump.
Oh yeah. No, that's really good.
That's fair.
I like most realistic. Great.
But-
I love this so much as a topic. So we have Bob taking the win with Idiocracy.
That's so much more true.
Well,
than
Seppy, you got to go against him now.
Yeah, you got your
I
chance
do.
to try to, okay.
I do. As far as most simulating the post-apocalyptic experience as everyman, you are a father whose wife gave up a hope, and you were living in a cabin while the time society was devolving around you. And now you realize, since all the vegetation on the planet is dying around you, you can no longer sustain yourself. You and your son need to make the trek
Oh my God.
across America.
Oh, this book
try
is so good.
to try to find hope and connecting with others. So I'm going to go with Viggo Mortensen and The Road.
Oh my God. Cormac McCarthy, this novel is amazing.
It is in the story. It is about a father who tries his best to find hope for his son in a desolate situation.
Seppi, I did not write this down and I'm ashamed of myself.
It
Congratulations, sir. This is awesome.
If you want to take realistic apocalypse experiences, it starts with a memory flashback of a father-mother situation, and it stars Furiosa. Furiosa is the actress. Yes. Who plays the mother who gives up hope, and she just walks into the woods as never to be seen again. And
Just to die. She gave up.
So the father, it involves cannibalism. It involves fine family. It involves dying of tuberculosis. And at the very end, our father finds hope by finding another family that has not given up on humankind, and he can pass his son so that his son will not be alone.
But do you trust that, Seppi?
I do. I feel like people are good.
You go with the optimistic ending.
Honestly,
and they're not going to eat them in a minute.
No, they're not going to eat him in a minute.
Okay.
I want to
do
believe,
worse things.
This is why I think this is true and why it's the most realistic. People are all susceptible to road rage, but what they forget is that one asshole who cut you off, you've already probably passed hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are doing what they were supposed to today.
Look at that. Seppi, that's his designer words of wisdom today. He's
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not fair for anybody to have to go up against Seppi. I'm just going to say that.
Well, I mean, so the delivery is exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. You
And-
cannot pick Seppi's if you did not pick Children of Men. You have to go Idiocracy. Just saying.
The delivery is
you let the
exceptional.
judge do what he wants to do.
I still think Idiocracy sounds like the most realistic in
Yeah,
time.
Bob,
to
I
me.
told you. I was
It
telling him to
does
vote
seem
for
it.
you, Bob. Shut
All
up.
right, that's great.
The most
I could be
TV
very
stars
proud of
for
my showing. I think I made a very strong argument for my
You
pick.
very much
Seppi-
did.
Your amazing
Seppi
argument
and I-
has been noted, and no.
Seppi and I will sit in our depressing corner of the coffee shop, share a beverage and some tears,
And in
And
the meantime,
then-
I'm trying to figure out which one goes in my mouth and which one goes in my butt. So
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was chance for Mike's revenge, and Mike did it.
Also,
He picked
Mike-
Idiocracy.
Mike, if
Mike-
you're gonna watch any of the movies that we're talking about, watch it, Idiocracy. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good
he'll
time.
enjoy it.
You should. You'll love that.
Here's
Terry
a fun
Crews for president. Oh,
fun fact, Macho Camacho. Fun fact
Yeah.
about Idiocracy: the writers were looking. They wanted the dumbest looking shoes, so they literally did like a nationwide search to find these dumb shoes that they thought everybody would wear in the future because they
Crocs.
needed everybody stupid, and they were Crocs. That
Yeah,
is
Crocs.
Nice.
that is
Yeah.
why I will never wear Crocs
Yeah,
ever.
you cannot wear Crocs.
I wear Crocs that
Uh,
don't look like Crocs.
All right. So
They're pink.
both of them were so Bob defeated both of us. We get 0 points, but Bob gets 2 points for the win.
woo.
Yeah, nice job. Nice
Bob
job.
gets first. Seppi comes in with another second place.
No, I don't get anything.
You
I'm
don't.
at 0. I got defeated
No, second
as
place.
equally by Idiocracy as you did.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's no second place. There's only first places.
A judge can give out a second place if he wants to. I
Okay.
gave.
He ain't first
I
or
gave-
last.
Yeah. But as by the system, it's about by wins, and Bob got the double win, which is what is most important.
Oh,
okay.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right. So we had best dystopia, best wasteland, and best
Most
realistic
realistic.
apocalypse. So now it is time for Tim to be judge.
Ooh,
Tim.
ooh.
Tim, you're going to pick a category. And remember, this is about proving that you have what it takes to be warlord of the waste with your judgment and your cunning and your arguments.
All right, boys. Here's one for you. Speaking of warlords of the waste, what movie has the best villain in a dystopian or apocalypse? I'll give you either.
Oh,
Best
we're going to go best
villain.
Best villain.
I want the
in
worst,
post-apocalypse.
the best of the worst on your lists. And I want to start with Seppi because he's gone last like every time I feel like, and I just love listening to him talk.
Best
And then once I see what a fantastic job he does, I will then brutalize one of my very best friends and make them go up against him.
Best villains. That's really
So she's
So-
barking at me.
Just to give Seppi a moment to think, Jim, since I see you're on here, Jim, I see you're on here. I'm going to crack your beer now. So I was waiting for you to crack it open. I'm cracking your beer. I'm going to have it now. Seppi, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought you were thinking.
No, I
about
had
it.
a question as judge.
Okay, yeah.
Are you arguing that are you putting in the rule that we can't name something we already did to keep it interesting for the listeners?
If it is one, it is eliminated. That's my rule.
If it's been said before.
No. If it is one, if that movie, book, or video game or board game has already been picked as a winner. So for the record, RoboCop is off the board. Resident Evil 3 specifically is off the board. You know what I mean? Like, so those are off the board,
All
right?
right.
Idiocracy is off the board.
All right. As far as villains go, all right. Do they have to be a personified character and actor? Or
Just give me a villain. Whether the concept is a villain, I don't know.
are you looking for characters or are you talking like situations? Because if we said situations are in, I would pick the system in Gattaca as an example
sure
versus my actual choice,
No, go with somebody
Which is
that
going
we can
to-
hate.
which
Like-
is going to
like-
be Roy from Blade Runner.
Oh,
As a
like Tears in the Rain.
Tears in the Rain, and I am done like Tears in the Rain. As if we're going to talk about sympathetic characters who go on an entire physical journey, who you do not know if you love and you hate. The best villain is the one who triggers the most amount of thought and emotion, and that is clearly Roy
Batty.
Roy Batty
Oh,
from Blade Runner.
Seppi, you beautiful bastard. That's a great pick.
If you're gonna go dystopia, if dystopia's in, Blade Runner's in.
Hey, I have Blade Runner written down as dystopian.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know if I would have gone with Roy or the designer of the replicants, who I can't remember his name right now, because I feel like he is also a villain.
Yeah, but
what he has done. But Roy is the real villain, right?
Well,
I mean, he's
the
antagonist of the movie.
Yeah, and he's constantly tries. You could pick the other person, but that I did not pick him in the same reason that I did not pick the system in Gattaca. Like, no,
that's fair.
Like both of those are choices that you have.
And Gattaca is another movie I've written down, but we'll see if it comes out.
I love a dystopia. Like, I'll double that.
Yeah,
but who's going up against Roy Batty?
Let's put Bobby up against Roy Batty.
Okay.
Oh, he's confident. He ain't even worried.
I'm a little worried now because that's a great. Tim loves that movie. That was a great pander. Okay, I can appreciate the pander. But to me, it doesn't get much worse than Hitler. And in Man in the High Castle, Hitler's the main bad guy. And it's one, I love World War II stuff. And as an alternate story, World War II, I think it's a fantastic show. I haven't read the books, unfortunately. But
just one book,
man. It just okay, sure, yeah. But the show is great, and I love what they do with it. And you got the last Americans held up in the Rocky Mountains trying to fight back against the Japanese and the Germans. And yeah, I mean, you're talking bad guys. Hitler's a pretty bad guy.
He's not really personified in this, like. But yeah, that's a real good argument. That's like Tim's a terrible person if he doesn't shoot Hitler. He's trying to corner you.
Yeah, Tim. So are you going to say Hitler's not so bad? Is that what you're going to say? Or?
He's trying to get you canceled. I like it as an evil move by a potential warlord. I respect that move, Bob.
Hold on. Here's the thing, Bob. Do you know who wrote Man in the High Castle?
I sure do.
No. Do you know who wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is what Blade Runner is based on?
No.
Philip K. Dick. It's the same author.
You fell into my trap.
Also, Bob, if you would have won if you had said John Smith, because he is the real villain of the Man in the High Castle.
He is.
Yeah. He's also amazing in Dark City, also a good dystopian movie.
Yeah.
He's the lead in that. Yeah, but John Smith, dude, he is the villain of villains in that movie. Mm-hmm. So Roy Batty
he's got a good character arc though, because it does come around. He realizes how bad and wrong he is.
Well, it takes his son it takes his son being so brainwashed that he volunteers to be euthanized, which also reflects how devastating and frigging horrible that society is.
Yeah.
But you didn't say John Smith. You said Hitler, who sits ineffectually in a castle in Bavaria somewhere. And you see him like 3 times. It's not enough.
He's not enough of a character.
Right. So Bob, I'm going to say to you as one of my oldest friends, get good. And so far Seppy is winning. And Mike, bring it. I know you can do better than Hitler.
Tim endorses Hitler.
Here's the other thing, though. So some of the guys saying like Darth Vader and things like that, those are not dystopians or post-apocalyptic villains. Like Christoph Waltz.
It's a long time ago.
Amazing villain.
You want to talk about like terrible Nazis and great villains, right? Yes, 1,000,000%. You would.
We have our next topic. The next time we'll talk about villains in games, books, movies, and TV shows.
Straight up villains. Let's dance.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. What? Topic at hand, Mr. Mike Rice, the People's Mike. Can you smell what pick Mike is bringing? No.
Can we not hear Mike?
Come on, Mike.
Can we not hear Mike?
Morning.
Hey, morning.
Hey.
Morning, in less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, a word should have new meaning for all of us today, because the worst villain are the aliens in Independence Day. no peace. Okay? The whole goal is to destroy society. Why? Who knows? We're going to start with the largest cities first.
All right.
Destroy the largest
Point of
building.
order. Point of order. That is an apocalypse movie, not a post-apocalypse, and it is averted. I call for the immediate disqualification of Mike because even though he's amazing for having read the speech, he did not do the homework.
Okay, so hold on. As much as I'm sure everyone would love to see the People's Mike give his passionate description of why the aliens from Independence Day are the greatest villain of a post-apocalyptic movie, game, book, whatever. Unfortunately, two things. First of all, Seppy's right. The apocalypse was and second, that movie, if you look, 1996, whatever, 95, when that movie came out, I was gonzo for it. I have watched that movie now, and I am not nearly as entertained by that movie as I was 20 plus years ago when I saw it in theaters as a teenager. So unfortunately,
Tagging some comments here.
Listen, this is a dystopia, and all that means that it is also a dictatorship, and that dictatorship is. You
should let Mike speak. But I really want to say one last thing before we let you finish, of course, Mike, because you deserve your time in the pulpit.
Okay.
But, oh, no, you didn't shoot that green shit at me, Mike.
Welcome to Earth.
Tim's a firm believer in a ruling class, especially when he rules.
Look.
And I'm gonna rule that class.
You can say whatever you guys want about your classifications, but last I checked, we live in the United States. We recently celebrated Independence Day, and I will not go quietly into the night. Vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. And today, we celebrate Independence Day.
All right, Dave Rossi makes a great point.
Okay.
We had cities obliterated, and it only really takes 10% of the population to die for our system to collapse. If Mike had stood up for his argument that is actually an apocalypse, that would be a thing.
Hold on, Seppy. Let me just stop you. Let me just stop
the
you.
Judge here.
Let me just stop you as the judge, because I get to be dictator for like 2 more minutes. So I'm gonna flex
just for a day,
just for this final moment. Mike, I will give you credit. I will give you bonus points for quoting the best part of that movie. Bill Pullman is an absolute gem, and him and that's kind of it, right? Like, he's the best part of that movie. And like some Randy Quaid before the Hollywood Mafia was trying to kill him, because cocaine's a hell of a drug and it'll melt your brain. But seriously, Bill Pullman speech is the main reason why that movie lives on. The rest of that movie, Roland Emmerich has proven himself to be way overrated. He had one hit, and then everything else has kind of been junk since. So, Mike, kudos to the performance. Seppy, I would like to give Mike like a few points for that, but Roy
more importantly, I'm going to take my one win against Bob, and I listened to the people, and I feel like I robbed him early. I would like to give the win to Mike.
Whoa, well, that's your choice. That's your win, sir.
Because the chat has been on Mike's side the entire time, and the chat was right. He'd been robbed multiple times. He also brings the best performance over the one on, and the chat even argued correctly that you could call blowing up those cities an actual apocalypse. So it is borderline post-apocalyptic.
And Tim wants another good line.
Yeah.
Remember when he says, "Up yours"? That's
so bad.
I mean, if we're relying on my ability to remember movies, I'm gonna lose every time. So
no, we're
not. We're not.
Mike, we're not at all. As a matter of fact, you brought up the one part of that movie I still enjoy. I will watch that. But I've gone back to rewatch. I'm like, oh, I should rewatch that. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is bad. This movie's bad.
If someone asks if you're a god.
That's a good movie.
You're just not watching it correctly, Tim. You just got to go in knowing it's a feel-good movie.
All right. So in the first round, we have RoboCop getting Tim 2 points and Mike getting a half point for judge's discretion. In the next round, we have Resident Evil for Tim taking a win, and then Seppy getting 1 for defeating something. I got 1 point for that. The next one is
Idiocracy.
Realistic. Idiocracy takes the win, so that is Bob. So that make sure we got Tim. We got.
So we have 1 left.
Mike.
That's 4.
No, this is it. Yeah, we're going to the final round.
Oh my god!
This
so
is
fast.
Seppy.
It did go fast.
It does. It's great. And then we got Bob at 2. And then this last round, Mike. All right. So it is Mike, Bob, and Tim in the final. My charity to Mike removed me from the and it's that kind of charity that makes me uneligible to be a warlord. And I think that's fine. Like that kindness.
Let me just say that I love that Seppy has been removed because he smoked me on the last face-off we had.
But Tim will have to lead our arguments with the most points. Then following up will be Bob, and then finally it will be the People's Choice Mike. Okay.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones still on my list.
Dude,
all right.
I feel like Mike's gonna get a shirt that says the People's Choice or something.
I know. Seriously.
Okay.
I love that Mike has become the mascot of this show. And
we are going to pick.
What's crazy is that we thought that this show was going to go for like 4 hours, and it has been a brisk hour and a half so far. We're already the last one.
I keep things on rails. Like, this is my deal, people. I deliver early on Kickstarter promises. Do I need to make this stuff go longer? No, I thought people would like the anime turnaround where I step down to let Mike step into the final round because he's been on my same page and he delivered the speech like a freaking champ. Okay.
There we go, Mike.
All right.
The People's Choice.
Since this is the People's Choice and this is the final round, we're going to go with what is the best apocalypse or dystopia. So everybody had a number 1 coming in because I don't want Mike to feel like he was cheated. I knew he showed up with the number 1. I want everybody you knew the old format, so bring your number 1 and why. Oh, what was that last comment?
It was Eric.
Yeah, we're moving right along, and then we still went to 11.
Yeah. Well, I was so sad I was not able to be on that episode. I said it before, but you guys were cruising, and if I jumped on, it would have derailed it. And you guys were in simpatico, and it was happening. And I'm not that selfish. I'm pretty selfish, but I'm not so selfish to come on and ruin a good time that Mike was happening.
Just for the record, I did all leave you guys speechless with my argument for the road.
Dude, Seppy, I wish that we lived so much closer together because you and I could have a fucking movie club. We could have a book club. I mean,
let's talk about the movie club. And we've talked about this before, and I think you guys should either think about it or do a watching party. There is an anime called Toriko, Mike. And Toriko is about being a gourmet hunter. And as a gourmet hunter, you go around the world, and because it's Japanese, I don't think people should do this. You go around finding the most rare thing that you can kill and eat.
Oh, sure. It's called being really wealthy.
Yeah. Well, no, they have super dangerous. At least the things fight back in this, and it's really hard to get. Okay. So in this anime, they have the 7-course meal of ultimate hunterness, the most delicious meal that you can put together. Okay. So Toriko was so big with my little group. I made them all watch this terrible thing that I made everybody, when we started our film club, put together the 7-course movies of their lifetime.
Whoa.
Where you had to pick your amuse bouche. You had to pick your drink. You had to pick your dessert movie, your main course movie, and so forth and whatnot, and why it did. And that is an amazing way to do a movie club where everybody has to present their 7 movies that complete them and talk to them as a movie goer. And
I need to hang out with game designers more. It's what I'm doing.
But all right, as our point leader, Tim, you must argue for what is the best and why it is the best. Like, this is the best why.
Let me get the right title. But yeah, I've got
for an apocalypse or dystopian movie. And then your next challenger will be Bob. And then finally, People's Choice Mike.
Okay. Let me just.
I don't want the people who I obviously robbed Mike of to be mad at me because I heard them, and so I stepped aside. So Mike, who's loved by all, could feel that love in the post-apocalyptic ways.
They must have really missed me last week. This is
It's
something.
great. No, it's good to be loved. I wish I knew what that felt like.
Give me just a second. I've got a. Okay. What is more depressing and apocalyptic than searching for a cure for a disease turning into what ultimately begins the end of the world? It's the most horrifying and devastating apocalypse imaginable, right? Because it comes from good intentions. We're trying to cure, I believe it was Alzheimer's. And even though he's kind of been canceled, James Franco's really good in this movie. And I'm talking about Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Apes, yeah.
Because the apes are so sympathetic, especially early on, and you understand where they're coming from and how they're misunderstood. And it's not their fault. But then humanity begins its own demise, right? Because that's what we do. We are wonderful at being horrible to each other. And so especially the rebooted Planet of the Apes franchise is so damn good. And it's so telling and pressing. And then even then the apes are then doomed to repeat our mistakes. It's so good. Also, one of my favorite games that came out last year, After Us, is based on that as well. There's just so many good things in here. This whole franchise like really just sums up humanity in so many ways and does it so well, because you get all the ugly parts of humanity and the good parts in humanity, and you see them both represented in ape and man. It's really good. It's really sad. It's so frustrating and upsetting because you're like, why can't we all just get along? I mean, you're Rodney Kinging this, as the riots are going on. And yeah, the sides just cannot reconcile differences. And while, Charlton Heston and Roddy McDowell got it going back in the 60s, the new series, that updated series is so good and borderline blasphemous to say this, better than the original series. I mean, it quickly gets better than the original series, especially with all the sequels. The first movie is groundbreaking, but moving on really quickly, just so good. We will ignore the Tim Burton one, even though it's got some great actors in it. But yes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes and on from that franchise is so good and so upsetting and devastating. And yes, and it all started from a good place. We're trying to find a cure, and it all goes sideways so quick.
Oh, picking Planet of the Apes as like your example of apocalypse. There's so much Planet of the Apes to choose from. Planet of the Apes is one of the best punchline for an apocalypse movie. It's just such a good choice.
You blew it up,
Tim. You all, damn you damn sick of it. It was so much good across so much things. Even had a TV show like. That second movie with the psychics it's actually legitimate.
That's actually kind of like surprisingly good.
It is surprisingly good. It holds
but then
up.
It gets bananas in the third
Yeah, no, and like
Yeah.
then there's some time travel. Like it
Right.
tries hard. Like
Yeah.
and then but the new ones are so good and has Gollum. Those are all really good.
Andy
choices.
Serkis, right? Caesar.
Yeah,
I mean, so many good.
These are so good. So Tim, I commend you for such a really strong contender. I'm very excited to see what Bob comes up with that rivals the ape apocalypse.
So that wasn't my number one on my list, but it was on my list. I didn't get a chance to talk about it, and I feel like this would be one of my favorite apocalypses to live in.
You're not arguing your favorite. You're arguing the best.
Oh, this is the best. I mean, because you've got rival barons that control these Badlands with the help of trained assassins and high caliber martial arts. But Into the Badlands is a fantastic post-apocalyptic set and series that is just fun to watch. It's just lots of action, swords, weapons. Like,
how dare you pander to Seppy's heritage? How dare you?
What? Oh, I didn't realize. But no, I saw that show on I think it was Netflix when it came out, and like I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's just a great telling, you know, of everything that goes on, and just watching these, you know, barons who are trying to control everything with fear and assassins like backstabbing each other and trying to, you know, control everything else that's going on in there. Plus, it has the dude from Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now, but
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. Who's in that?
Nick Frost.
Okay.
Nick Frost is in it. Yep. So,
Bob, that is an amazing choice of a modern apocalypse and post-apocalyptic setting. Like the economy of that show is so fantastic. If it had more seasons and more depth, it would definitely be a contender. But for the decades and groundbreaking performances and revitalizing something that was so established into something so new and vibrant itself, the ape apocalypse beats out the kung fu heroine apocalypse. You know, I know you were pandering with the kung fu heroine apocalypse, but
no, it was on my list.
Yeah, like kung fu heroine apocalypse is seriously a contender. And Bob, I love that pick, but the ape apocalypse, it proves why Tim is winning this like that. He is bringing his ape warlordness, and between the two of you, he looks much more like a monkey. And so we're gonna. Tim is clearly all right. People's
my
choice.
ass
Mike.
is red.
We talked about it. We fit something in your fanny pack already. Now, come on, Mike. Are you ready? I'm ready for the performance.
I'm so ready because, you know, I could have. Here comes that curveball. Now, here's the thing is that, you know, I could very predictably pick the best movie that has an end time or a dystopia. But if you didn't see when Seppy was on before, I convinced everybody that the autopilot from Airplane was a robot. So that's why, in my opinion, you know, the best dystopia is an effective dystopia. One that we actually currently live today. And that's why the best dystopian movie is Rudy. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Mike, hold on a goddamn minute here. How is it that a movie about the Notre Dame football team, how is that dystopian? What in the hell? Are you serious? That's not dystopia. I hear your complaints loud and clear. Mm-hmm. But yes, Rudy is a movie about the Notre Dame football team. And a guy who barely made the team gets to play in the last game of the season out of pity. And while that's partially true, this movie is also about the dystopian universe where the University of Notre Dame football team is national championship contender back in the 80s. And they really haven't been since the 80s. So Rudy is this reminder that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish spirit is the most vivid representation of oppressive dystopia that we endure as non-Notre Dame football fans living near South Bend, Indiana. And that's because the area fills with these unrealistic expectations of football fans far and wide. Southern Michigan, Northern Indiana, full of Notre Dame fans with this blind faith that starts in April. Their team is going to contend for a national championship. And this
My blind faith
totali-
started February, whatever, the day after the national championship was played. Please continue.
in this totalitarian existence, any belief in any other football team, sports teams are completely shunned. And this oppressive belief system typically lasts until Notre Dame suffers their second defeat. And sometimes it even takes until they suffer their defeat and the national championship rankings come out for local fans to finally admit that they have no choice, no chance whatsoever to actually be a national championship contender. And so this is a plot we've seen many times where Indy is ranked like 5th in the preseason, riling up all the fans, setting them up for the eventual embarrassment when they don't meet expectations. And this starts from, well, Tim said after the national championship game, but really it's in April when they play their blue gold game, which is kind of their last scrimmage of the spring. And
I go
then
do it
you
every
just
year.
Yeah, and they'll do it every year. And then you won't hear about the only thing you'll hear about in this area up until they're eliminated from the national championship is Notre Dame football. That's the only thing you'll hear about in this area for a period of about 5 to 6 months. Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Once again, I know what you're thinking. But Mike, where is the suffering? Where is this dystopia? Okay. And, where is the despair? This area is so dystopian about Notre Dame football faith that the university owns the local TV station and therefore controls the media representation of the team here locally.
It was sold 15 years ago, Mike. WDU is no longer owned. They are now owned. Yeah.
WDU tells you all you need to know about that television station. And also they have an exclusive deal where they're only covered by NBC. So not only
I just hear hate speech. That's all I hear is hate speech.
No. All I
put up with.
I think if controlling the media is not a dystopia, then damn it, I don't know what is. And if you don't think this is a dystopia, then I think you've underestimated the unfiltered spirit of Irishmen, especially after a few Irish whiskeys who are driven by the blind faith of their overrated football team.
Okay.
Not to mention the cognitive dissonance, right?
You said a few things that are true. But far from being a dystopia, one TV station that they owned years ago and no longer own does not merit controlling the media. Calm down, sir. Please fact check yourself.
All right. Okay.
Owning the news controlling the media, Mike.
I think we're going down
nationwide. You might live in a microcosm of a dystopia.
If you continue to
personal
speak, Tim,
created.
If you continue to speak, Tim, I will remove your victory.
Yeah, respect the court, Tim.
Yeah. Mike, you gave the most impassioned and complete speech. You did. And you picked Rudy anything with Samwise Gamgee in it. But as you were my nominee to step aside as the people's choice, the people in the chat have turned on your argument.
I'm okay.
And though I understand a vendetta is more important than victory sometimes, we're going to give the victory to Tim's Ape Apocalypse. So Tim will be our warlord of the waste. Can we have some clapping for Tim?
I don't know.
Come on, Bob and Mike.
Tim kept counting that same vote over and over again, so it looked like a lot of votes. But it was the same vote. Just kept counting it over and over.
That wasn't a vote, Bob. I was just highlighting the idiocracy.
No, there was other people. There are other people sounding it. I read all the comments. But for my, the people who brought it the highest today, Mike's picks up until the end were just so good, and his willing to do the performance was so good. That means he's a contender every time we do this. So good. Bob,
I gotta step my game up.
We got to see your virgin legs in this thing, and next time you will stretch and lube up first, and you will understand what is required of you, and that will be fine. Tim, you really brought it.
Carbon up when the race started.
Yeah, I know. You understood who the judge was. You understood the assignment, and you came with the winner that has countless decades of work, of which I have lived through all of them. And so the ape apocalypse, Tim is warlord of the apes, and he is granted this situation. Absolutely, Tim. Congratulations. I'm like, come on, Bob. I'm like, you gotta clap for Tim. Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Too many Guinnesses.
Yeah, you can do it.
Hold on. Listen, this was awesome. Mike.
Other than Tim winning, this was great.
Mike, as a Gen Xer, I really hate to admit when someone is actually able to throw me a curveball, and you did throw me a curveball. So fuck you for that. I mean, great job. Great job.
I told you weren't going to see it, and he said, "I was like, no, you're not ready." For this.
Mike Secret didn't realize that I went to the Notre Dame. Also is the name of a series of high schools, and I actually attended one. So, as the Fighting Irish, I was sort of immune to your argument. You did not know this. This is something that I do not share with people. Also, as somebody who went to the University of Michigan, beating up on Notre Dame every year is just a given.
Yeah, I knew Seppy. Here's the thing, Mike. Let me just say, I started sweating a little because I knew Seppy went to Michigan. I knew he went to.
Just like
that got brought up before. I totally forgot that one.
I knew Seppy went to Michigan, and I'm like, oh, this might be tough because I knew. Like, look, I looked over my list, and we'll go over like the movies we didn't mention, maybe that we wrote down.
Yeah, let's go like honorable mentions on people's list of things that did not get mentioned. And since Bob came in last, Bob, what was your highest honorable mention for dystopias? Like what didn't get talked about that you think should be mentioned here in the post game?
One of my biggest one that I had like a number one was Equilibrium.
Oh, dude, so good. Christian Bale, Sean Bean. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gun fu.
Kind of hard to go wrong with those. Yeah, the whole gun probability thing they did.
All right, Bob, you and I have this martial arts gung fu tie. Now I know this about you. Like action flicks, like good choreography in an action flick. That is very, very strong.
Bob,
Equilibrium is a great choice.
You can't give Seppy details about your life. He will find and incept you.
Inceppy me?
Yeah, he will incept you.
Yeah. Wait,
I signed up for that
your
like
fanny
ages
pack,
ago.
Bob. It's fine. I'll incept you. That's fantastic. Mike, you did a lot of research for this, or at least prepared your deliveries, which were really good, Mike. Like very, very, very good. What was on your list that is in the honorable mention category?
I need to prepare more deliveries is my takeaway from this, because a lot of times I just kind of bring in games for our lists, and I'm like, okay, here's what I want to talk about for
you could games. There's two games on my list that I'm gonna during my section for honorable mention we're gonna talk about. Oh, I Am Legend.
See,
garbage movie, but great book. Sorry.
I Am Legend is the other one where they're trying to find a cure and they create the disease, right?
Yeah.
And it has three decades with Vincent Price, Charlton Heston, and Will Smith all playing the same character.
And I will take Vincent Price and Charlton Heston and Omega Man over the Will Smith one.
And if anybody had opened up this box and picked that one and lifted up that card, they would have immedially been the Warlord of the Waste.
Is there an I Am Legend card in here?
Yes, there is. And yes. I Am Omega Legendary Man is a card in the game. Yes. So you could have won that way, Bob. That's the other way. You could have just
because I gave the box to Tim. I couldn't have. He has it.
You should have grabbed it and said, "Oh my God, this is how." You could have just taken these cards and go, "Oh, this is the Omega Legendary Man." And guess who won the TTS playthrough of end of the line using that card, and that's why I thought Mike would have done that as a choice.
He didn't get the movie reference. He didn't get the movie reference.
He could have looked up the keywords. It would have come up. He had the box. He won the way. He had the knowledge. He could have asked me. I would have told him. I would have.
You know, but being a good friend, you know, going out of town, I passed along the game to Tim here. So,
and he used it to his advantage and won, and that's what a good warlord does. That's fantastic. Right. So that's a great takeaway. But which apocalypse or game do you think should have been mentioned, Mike? Which apocalypse didn't get airtime by us that you wanted to sneak in there?
Well, okay, so I would go immediately to zombie movies.
Last of Us was not mentioned. It should have been.
Should have been.
Yep.
Friggin' great.
If anybody had St. Frank and Bill with me, they would have won. That'd have been another one. The best episode, best gay romance in the history of all television and film.
Oh my God. Devastating.
You would have just won.
Devastating.
Just won.
Yeah. Devastating.
Yeah.
2004 Dawn of the Dead is amazing.
Yes.
Probably cream of the crop, in my opinion. I think that's still probably my favorite zombie movie of all time.
Ooh. Because that Evil Dead, no one said anything with Bruce Campbell in it. Like Evil Dead is an apocalypse movie.
Good.
I have this sweet spot for Land of the Dead. And the whole reason is because a lot of these kind of like post-apocalyptic zombie movies are right when the outbreak starts. Like, here's what led up to the outbreak, and here's what happened immediately afterward. But Land of the Dead is several years after the zombie apocalypse has started, and we've already set up several military, like militia, like city states that are protected with like walls and barriers. We're now using zombies as entertainment in like sort of cage like fight clubs.
Dennis Hopper, baby.
How do you feel about 28 Days Later?
We're also seeing the thing that lands for me about Land of the Dead is the fact that the zombies are now starting to evolve slightly. They're becoming a little bit more self-aware. They're aware when other zombies are getting killed. And now they're even capable of swimming and going through water, which we didn't see before. So that evolvement, that evolution of the zombies, I thought was very clever, and it makes it one of the more unique zombie movies.
Okay, that's good.
I haven't seen 28 Days Later probably since it came out. So
good.
I've seen it, but it's been 20 years since I've seen that movie.
No, it's
so
great.
I don't know.
Years.
It's worth rewatching. It is actually really good.
So a crazy story about 28 Days Later, real fast. I would see that movie by myself because I don't care about going see movies by myself. I will do it if I want to see a movie. No shame.
Yeah.
I saw it when it came out.
The popcorn bucket isn't an incentive either.
It's not as exciting by yourself, but it gets the job done. But I saw that movie. I saw like a really late show because I was bartending that night. I wanted to go see it. So I went after work. I got out at like 1 a.m. out of that movie, and I'm driving through downtown South Bend, and the streets are empty, and there is trash blowing, and I'm like, did the world end? Did the world end while I was in that movie theater? Like, I was genuinely creeped out, like by the intensity and the vibe of that movie, and the desolation that Cillian Murphy is like walking through, like as it's going on. You know what I mean? Like. It felt like that, right? As he's walking through London, like looking for people at the beginning when
so as categories of movie goes, Mike, like District 9 and 28 Days Later is one of the biggest like movies on the cheap to like lasting impact movies ever. These are movies that cost practically nothing to make that created insanely.
District 9 broke
District
my
9 was
heart.
really good. That should have been on my list.
District 9 is another one of those. Yeah.
I have it written down. I cried at District 9. It was
District 9 is so good. So good. So now some things that I would have put on the list as far as gaming goes. XCOM 2 is one of the dystopias that people should pick. Like XCOM 2, as the aliens cannot beat us in straight up fighting, so they beat us by fixing our economy and curing cancer. And then they go to eating us. Like, it is fantastic. fantastic. So I would have, as a game finale, especially War of the Chosen, greatest mod in the history of PC mods is XCOM 2. Long War of the Chosen is fantastic. It takes a 35-hour game and makes it a 150-hour game. No one should ever do this to themselves unless they really are dedicated to this level of shenanigans. It's absolutely fantastic. Next one that honorable mention, and everybody should think if they're into indie games and interesting ways to interpret the apocalypse, you should think about the role-playing game called Wander Home. And in Wander Home, it is an anthropomorphic world. So everybody is like, skunks and cats and dog people, all those kinds of things. But it is a world that has given up on war. It is absolutely fantastic. The rebellion has lost, and the aristocracy is still in power, but they too have also given up on war. So things are in a weird status quo between the two of the groups. And since they're all animals, as a role playing in that situation, if you ever give in to the violent urge, your character goes feral and becomes unplayable. So there is no killing or violence in that game. It is a sad yet cozy apocalypse. It is like the equivalent of putting on your favorite old like uncle or grandfather's smoking jacket after they passed. It is crazy.
And if you kill someone while wearing that smoking jacket, you must relinquish it to never be worn again.
Exactly like that. All right, so those two, as a huge fan of the genre, those are two things that I really think that people don't necessarily think about as part of the genre, but definitely are. And gaming related, because I know, Mike, you care about. You're like, hey, I want game representation. We can't just lean into movies. So I brought games.
No, you did. Okay. You did. After the Bomb is a really good supplement to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role-playing game source book. Yeah. And there's a few of those. Mutants in Avalon is my favorite version of it because England has reverted to like Arthurian legend. So you're doing that. Really good. Yeah, if you're going to talk about games, maybe End of the Line might be one for you. I would say even processing.
The processing is. Anybody could have pandered and picked one of these.
I have an autographed copy of that. I'm very excited.
To be fair, I was told no games. I was told movies and shows.
Who told you that?
No.
Huh? I didn't say no games.
In our group chat, I asked, and that's what I was told.
You should ask me next time, Bob.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Put him in
let me name some of the movies though because there's a ton of movies that I could have gone to. I wrote down a ton. I'm going to breeze through a couple real fast. Dread, specifically the one starring Carl Urban.
Yes.
Carl Urban. Mm-hmm.
So good. Dystopian future.
Oh, so good.
That movie is criminally underrated. It has an amazing cast and it is so freaking good. It is like an American version of The Raid, but which The Raid is an amazing movie anyways. You should watch that. But
and Headley does such a good job in that.
She is an amazing villain. She's an amazing villain. But Carl Urban never takes the helmet off.
No, never.
He's fantastic. Yeah. He is one of my favorite underrated actors of all time.
Same.
I really wanted to find a way to bring up Escape from New York, but I couldn't in a way that I thought
I knew you were going to. I figured you would.
Dude, Escape from New York, so good. The premise is better than the movie and the execution of the movie, to be honest. But
I was actually looking at the villain for that because I almost picked it when you said best villain. I was like, shoot, what villain for Escape from New York?
The actual villain is Snake Plissken in that, just so you know.
No.
Yeah.
The president of the United States is the villain.
Plutoxin 7 is a card in the new End of the Line. Just so you know, Plutoxin 7. Absolutely. That's Escape from New York. Now, the reason you should know, Idiocracy and Escape from New York, there's a flavor of dystopia or post-apocalypse where the civilization doesn't know that it's dead yet. Authoritarians, they're trying to hold on to something that no longer exists. And Escape from New York is a perfect example of descending into dystopia or descending the slow frog in the water apocalypse.
Well, I mean, that's and to give Mike a little bit of credit again, that's also just the genius behind the Matrix, right? Between what the Wachowskis were doing, right? They are the frog in the pot of boiling water. Humanity is, and they don't know it.
And that's why.
But then they're blissfully ignorant, right? A lot of times when given the choice. Sorry, Bob, what were you going to say?
I was like, that's why I had The Island on my list, because they don't realize they're in that post-apocalyptic world, and they're just kind of like grown for parts. You know?
All right. Do you know
Spoilers.
what the original movie of that one's called, Bob?
I don't.
You just said the word.
Parts?
Parts, the Clonosaur. Yeah, the first movie,
Really?
the first version of The Island is called Parts, the Clonosaur.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one is it's dystopian. It's my favorite. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. But it's controversial because this movie is a very hard watch. I'll just put it out there. So I don't normally lead with like, oh, what's your favorite movie? I don't throw out A Clockwork Orange to just anybody.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's a hard watch. But it is an important novel by Anthony Burgess, and the movie also Kubrick Kubrick left off the final chapter of the book because he wanted a more sinister, pessimistic ending. But I mean, when you boil down A Clockwork Orange to its core, the meaning is to be human is to have free will. And if you take away free will, you might as well be a Clockwork Orange, like a mechanical thing. You appear organic, but you don't actually have choice. And that is the importance of A Clockwork Orange. It gets dismissed because of the violence and the rape and all of the horrible things, but it's showing what the book is supposed to do is show the evolution of a person, right? And they learn, because at the end of the book, Alex DeLarge learns that it is better and more fulfilling to create than to destroy, which is what he spends the most of the movie doing, is destroying. And then he is literally programmed to not do that anymore. But that removes his humanity. And again, that is on one viewing without paying a lot of attention is what what is lost with A Clockwork Orange. But again, Stanley Kubrick's one of my favorite directors. And the man has.
I don't understand how, Tim, you and Mike can be friends. Like, I could not I like Kubrick a lot. Obviously, I will watch Kubrick, but Mike cannot watch a Kubrick film. There's there's no film that Mike could watch that is a Kubrick film.
Maybe Full Metal Jacket.
He's very consistent, so you won't see anything that's going to like throw you off and be like, well, wait a minute, how did he do that? Because he's a very good filmmaker.
Clockwork Orange is
everything very
though.
like on purpose.
Clockwork Orange is a great. 1984 obviously should hit the list too.
Fantastic movie, right? John Hurt.
Yeah.
John Hurt.
That almost became my truthful one, but
no.
1984
so good. If we're gonna talk about like the classic era of old, a modern one that people could have picked, which would have scored massive points with me, would also have been Westworld.
Oh, the Yul Brynner Westworld.
No, the new TV show, like, obviously is dystopian as well.
It is. I just wanted to I just wanted to flex that old movie muscle.
Oh my god. So
Justin, I did bring that up, but it was in the wrong topic, and I was immediately disqualified.
It's true.
But yes, it is a fantastic post-apocalyptic movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. But thank you for not bringing up The Postman.
No, my god. Like, we didn't talk about A Boy and His Dog. We didn't talk about like the Book of Eli. There's
Book
a
of
whole
Eli's
whole category of best punchline apocalypse.
No Escape. I loved that one growing up.
So it's all good.
Running Man I had written down. If there was a good opportunity to bring it up, you were Sub-Zero.
Now you're just plain
Zero.
Kill me, Christmas tree, light bulb, come get me.
Come get me. Come on. Running Man, now everything on my list.
Listen, Running Man's so good. Kill him. Running Man's so good. It's one of my favorite like bad movies, like pulp kind of movies.
You don't even know how like
Prime.
Stephen King is even involved in the script.
Dude,
of that movie.
seriously.
You're like, oh, he wrote it as an alias, and then
Bachman.
he's one of his Bachman books, and then they took him like, how did they lift the? Oh, this is a subcategory. They reintroduced,
Seppi, this is why you're one of my favorite people, dude, because you get all my references.
Yeah, that's a thing.
All right,
It is a thing.
Kim Breeze was correct. After a certain period of time, I turn into pumpkin, and I am pumpkinifying right now.
No,
you
you're good,
are
brother.
you are all amazing. Thanks so much for playing End of the Line. Thanks so much for letting me gamify Fight Club. I hope you guys liked the new format for 4 people. Like, make sure that you have it and you're fighting for a title. Yes, absolutely. Mike, I think you always down on yourself during this, but you obviously had the people's in it. You all brought the most surprising choices. You should really good job. Bob, I'm very excited to see what you can thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate it so much. And then Tim, thank you for being on my wavelength so I don't feel like a crazy person.
Listen, Seppi, there's more crazy people than just you out there. There's also me.
But for the record, I made even everybody who was watching the stream stunned with my argument for the road.
Dude, oh my God. To my co-hosts, I ask and I challenge you to stay on a little bit longer. Let's let Seppi go.
Thank you.
I want to have Mike and Bob on with me for a few minutes. I want to do some things with them. But Seppi, I cannot wait to see you at Gen Con. I'm going to be that weird little gremlin that comes up and gives you a hug.
Yeah.
I will offer you a cough drop from my pocket.
Ooh, nice.
It'll be nice and warm.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know if Seppi remembers this, but like when we were done, he's like, I interviewed him at Gen Con. It was like the first time we officially met. We chatted a little bit, like back and forth, like planning stuff. But then he's like, I'm losing my voice because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I have a cough drop. And I pull one out of my pocket. And he goes, I'm not sure I'm ready for like cough drop, pocket cough drop from you yet. And I said, I totally get it.
I think I said warm.
You might have
warm cough drop, warm pocket cough drop.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you did.
Because it was warm and sweaty that Gen Con. And I was like,
so sweaty.
Tim really wants me to have his salty cough drop. Please buy me dinner first, Tim. Please. I am a gentleman.
You got it, dude.
You got it. You got it. But anyway, Seppi, dude, always a pleasure. We need to have you on again before you have your next Kickstarter. Mostly because you don't have one plan that I know of. So
we'll be doing another one in the same time frame when we did Necropede. So beginning of next year, we'll probably do another one.
Yeah, that's probably too long. We should have you on again before then. We should
do quarterly Fight Club and pick another.
I think we should just call it quarterly Fight Club.
We should call it. There's 4 of us, and we do quarterly Fight Club.
Yep.
And now we have 2 championships. Please, in your website, you should dedicate, or your Discord, greatest robot of all time, which is the Conquest Princess, and that was scientifically proven. And now it is Tim, who's Warlord of the Wastes.
Warlord of the Apes.
And and I really want the stream to realize that I heard you, that Mike was not given his just desserts, and I was not going to let that happen. So I stepped aside, despite the fact that I had strong arguments, but it was much more fun to let you guys duke it out.
As Warlord of the Wastes, and we will create a new Discord channel just for this, little thread. I will pick the next topic. We will plan it. We will set a date. And we will let people like filter in their choices and what they think the battle royale should be. But
Right.
Seppi has gamified this. He's made the rules. He's set it up.
Yep.
We have a scoring system in place.
Yep.
And we will just rock and roll with this, because the really awesome thing about having someone like live on with us is it's really hard and awkward for them to like back out of it once we just go, hey, so we're doing this now, right?
I'm on board. My only requirement is that you allow me to have 5 minutes to remind people that I'm desperately poor.
Please, Seppi, elevator pitch one more time, and then we'll let you go.
I'm going to talk about
really
indie
fast.
game designers and how amazing these people are, and how I can thank the Fight fans. The title before Conquest Princess was Mouse, Cheese, Cat, Cucumber. I was homeless when we did that crowdfund, and it still delivered 3 months early on its promise. I would not have been able to put myself back together as a human if it wasn't for people like Kim Breeze, Sovereignty, and our fans. I would not exist. And so when you have a choice to go, hey, I want to use my dollars to, and Mike's like, fuck you, Seppy.
Yeah. Sushi's probably eating something she shouldn't. But please, also, fuck you, Seppy.
When you have a chance, and I have 13 years, and a lot of people who know, like, you can check all of my content. You make a real difference, and helping others. And in this time that we were making a lot of jokes about stuff, in this time that we are in, it is more important to try to connect with other people and bridge the divide than anything else, because it's really easy to dismiss other people and say, oh, they're stupid, fuck them, how could they be so stupid? It's a lot harder to say, hey, come sit down at my table and let's have a laugh and find out what we share in common.
Yeah.
Even though Notre Dame will never win.
That's fine,
all right,
except for this year.
Love the message, Seppy.
Seppy, thank you for being a beacon in this industry. You are a delight as always, with the exception of the last 30 seconds. I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We will have you on again soon. Seppi, you're the best.
See you, Seppi.
All right, bye, folks.
Thanks for coming on.
That was awesome. Thank you.
See ya.
Oh my God. Honestly, boys, we're just not going to do better than that. But Seppi's.
Well, I mean, it could have been somebody else winning. That would have been better.
Well, no. No. But oh my gosh. Seppi's the best. Thank you guys for being good sports, participating in that sham of a game. It was definitely a sham because I won. Mike, congratulations on a legitimate curveball. I actively try to go, oh, I'm going to shock you. I'll be like, no, it's not shocking. It's not shock. It's not a surprise. No, there's nothing you're going to do. Actively, if somebody's like, oh, this is the most offensive and shocking thing, I'm like, no, it isn't. I guarantee you it's not. Mike, you pulled it off. I got to give you credit. You pulled off the curveball of the dystopia that you are forced to live in northern Indiana, which is dominated, rightfully so, by Notre Dame sports, because Notre Dame is the best.
I'm just always reminded of the Real Men of Genius. And
Men of Genius.
Like the overzealous Notre Dame fan. When the team finishes 3-15, you'll wonder, why aren't we ranked number 2 when the new season brackets come out? It's so good.
Oh, man.
Chef's kiss. I will be at the Notre Dame Purdue game this year, and I am prepared to talk mad trash. Just so you guys know. But that's amazing.
When is? I need to figure out when that is. So I do want to say.
Oh, go on. It's the weekend before QSCon.
Oh yeah, that's when we're in Toronto. That's right. How terrible! I'll have to watch it from there.
You'll get plenty of text
I'll
messages.
give Karen a hug instead of watching the game. So
that's all right.
Yeah,
that's all right. I love Karen, and I would love to give her a hug, but I love Notre Dame football.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna tell her that you picked that over her.
That's fair. But don't tell her until after Gen Con, because I don't want to hear about that shit all at Gen Con. You tell her after, so maybe she'll forget by the next time I see her.
Right. Yeah, she won't forget.
No, she will not.
To stay on topic with one more thing before Tim's transition to I don't know what, actually. We actually did not talk about like the best post-apocalyptic board game ever made, and it's Anachrony. I mean, that game is about the cataclysm happening, and we discover a resource that allows us to travel back in time and improve humanity before the meteor hits. Genius game, genius design. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I know Bob shares me in that sentiment. So that game not getting mentioned tonight would have been a travesty.
Okay, so Mike, how dare you, sir, for hitting below the belt and just picking one of the best games that has been made, especially especially involving an apocalypse and probably kind of a dystopian future at the same time. Because the future ain't all that great before the cataclysm comes, right? I mean, there's like
Right.
wastelands
You have
and
all
stuff.
these factions worshiping in different ways.
Yeah. So Mike, well done. that's all I got. Mind Clash Games. Anachrony is an amazing game. It's a heavier game, but it's amazing. Yeah, great.
Incredible.
Well, and
Great.
if we were gonna have
there.
games on my list, I totally would have had Euphoria on my list. Also,
dude,
that's
Euphoria.
Shock your people dumber so that you can have more workers. I mean, come on.
Yeah, because if they get too smart, they go off and start their own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would also want to mention Defenders of the Last Stand because mutations are good.
Yes, they are.
I know Bob's also been trying to get me to play Outlive for like 3 months now.
Is that no wait? What's the one that you and I played, Bob, when you first got it from Kickstarter?
Outlive.
Is it Outlive?
Yeah, and you have your people, and you go to different areas, and you get the resources, and you have your own separate bunker,
you got your own little bunker, and you're building on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's Outlive. I figure that's kind of like the most Fallout type of game. I think Mike would enjoy that.
I would agree. Yeah. Oh, that could have won the whole thing, Mike.
Yeah, that was an Anachrony comment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, my defense, I was told no board games.
I kind of was under that understanding too, but I'm not going to argue with Seppy. He comes on, he's the guest, whatever. Sure. I had plenty of movies to pull from.
I had a big old list that I had written down.
Mike, let me also just say that you showed admirably. I like to give you a hard time about like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't like this list. But here's the thing, you know how I am. If I'm not picking on you, I don't like you. So screw you, Mike. Go to hell. I hate you. It's really good to see you. I'm really glad you're back.
I know. It's been like what, two weeks since we've hung out and played games.
It might be 3 because I think I missed a week and then you were gone. You know what I mean? Like we've had a few ships crossing in the night. So I was really excited to have like all of us on. I didn't want to like expose Seppy to this, but Bob and I played a little bit of autocorrect last week. And now that we've got Bob and Mike.
Well, no.
Before I get autocorrect out, I busted out the old, and we haven't touched this one in a while, ESPN Trivia Night.
Oh, crap.
Because, hold on, Bob. Bob knows.
I was like, come on, movie trivia. Come on, movie trivia.
Oh, dude, listen, I'm going to bring this to Gen Con and I'll bring an iPad and a hotspot. And if anybody wants to dance, we will friggin' dance. I will go with anybody. Yeah. I have not even pulled the shrink off this yet. So I have no idea.
What's inside?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mike has my Star Wars trivia. So he could ask Bob and I questions because we will be way more competitive, unfortunately, than Mike and I were, especially because that's like our OG edition.
Sure.
Okay. So Mike,
I still feel you got the upper hand on this, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Mike, your categories are, and I'll let you pick. I pulled them all out so you can tell me which one you want. I'm not going to give you ice hockey. I'm leaving that one off.
That's good.
Okay. Baseball.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, right. That's it. The great one. Baseball, basketball, logos and mascots, all sports, football, or seen on screen.
Wow, he's going with all of them.
Yeah, all but one. All but one.
Okay. Yeah, Justin's requesting some of the Star Wars.
Oh, Justin, they're coming.
That'll probably have to happen. Yeah, don't worry.
They're coming.
We got 2 knowledgeable Star Wars people. It's worth doing now.
I figure we can go to 11. We can BS a little bit, go to 11, and call it good.
I have to wake up in the morning. I'm not used to that.
Let's just make it maybe a little harder and go with. I'll go baseball.
Baseball. Okay. Do you want the 1 point, 2 point, or 3 point question?
Wow. I'll go in the middle. 2 point question. I assume the higher point ones are harder.
I would assume that as well. If you don't get this, then Bob gets a chance to steal.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Spinal Tap.
That's kind of why I picked baseball. No,
Which-
I wasn't sure how it was going to work.
Dude, baseball's so boring to me, but go for it.
All right, Mike,
It's
if you
okay.
don't get this, you cannot call yourself a fan of baseball. I'm just going to tell you, this is really easy.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Which MLB team began playing home games at Camden Yards in 1992? And I'm not going to give you the multiple choice.
The Baltimore Orioles.
Right, because you don't need multiple choice because Camden Yards is famous, right?
It is. It is.
Okay, so how about this, Bob? If you want to outdo Mike, here's the 3-point question.
In baseball?
Yeah.
I'll answer if he doesn't.
Sure.
Just
Mike
for
can
fun.
answer for fun points, but it won't count
Yeah.
towards his
Sure.
points. Which player, Bob, had a single season batting average above 400 in 1941? The last time that this has occurred. And it says as of 2019, which is I assume when this game was made, but it hasn't occurred then.
Mickey
It is
Mantle.
Oh,
It's a good guess.
it's a good
Babe
guess,
Ruth.
but nope.
That's
He
two
might have
baseball
been-
players I know.
Little early.
A little early
he's
for him.
he's the Golden Splinter. I'll give you one more clue. Or I'll give you 2 more clues. He played for the Red Sox, and it's rumored that they froze his head in a jar, but I don't think that actually happened.
I don't know. I want to say some sort of Robinson, but I don't know. Jackie Robinson.
Nope, but good guess. Mr. Mike, the people's Mike.
Yeah, it is the former Air Force pilot, Mr. Ted Williams.
Ted Williams, the Golden Splinter, the greatest
heard of
hitter of all time. I mean, literally
Never heard
the
of
greatest hitter of all time.
Just for fun, real quick, give me that 1-pointer.
Sure. Let me give Bob this 1-pointer.
All right.
Bob, which of these
I might
MLB
get.
teams, you'll get it. Which one of these MLB teams is not named for the state where they play? The Texas Rangers, the Washington Nationals, the Minnesota Twins, or the Colorado Rockies?
The Washington
Not-
Nationals.
Thank you, sir.
Yay, multiple choice.
Yeah. But if I would have said on that batting one, Joe DiMaggio, Stan Musial, Pee Wee Reese, or Ted Williams, would you have picked out Ted Williams? I bet you would have said
Hey,
DiMaggio.
maybe I should have said Joe DiMaggio.
I would have guessed you would have said DiMaggio, not knowing. Okay, Hoop. 6 categories to choose from, and then we can move on from sports trivia. But so far, Mike is
football's
clearly
the only
winner.
sport I know anything about. So
Okay, football. You want 1, 2, or 3?
let's go middle of the road.
Which team played the Kansas City Chiefs in the first NFL game where both teams scored at least 50 points? I'll give you multiple
Green Bay?
choice.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me give you multiple choice. Also, I will tell you that it's an AFC team, and you should know
Okay.
what AFC means because Miami
Yes.
Dolphins are an AFC team.
Yes.
So is it the Ravens? Is it the Colts? Is it the Rams? Or is it the Steelers? Now, let me be clear. It says Baltimore Ravens and Indianapolis Colts. That is important because the Colts also used to be in Baltimore.
Used to be Baltimore.
So the first NFL game where both teams scored 50 points.
But aren't the Rams NFC?
No, not anymore.
So
Or they weren't
They used
then.
then I would say the Rams.
You are correct.
That's correct.
Because it was a greater
The
show on
only-
turf, right?
Well, they were NFC then. So you're right for the
Oh.
wrong reason. When the
I'll take
LA Rams were an AFC
Okay.
team. Mike, what were you going to say?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought that game was a lot more recent. I thought that happened like 3 years ago.
The Rams are
What?
still NFC, right?
Yeah. I thought you said it was an AFC team.
Oh, I guess, you know what? To be fair to you, Mike, maybe it was. But I assumed that the Chiefs being an AFC team, that it would also have been in it. So, Bob, you might have been right for the right reason.
That's
Okay. So
I think I remember that game.
can I tell you an interesting piece of football trivia I heard recently?
Let's hear it.
So you know I'm a Dolphins fan, AFC East. There are 4 teams in the AFC East.
Oh.
Can you guess where the Jets rank on the AFC East Championships, what rank are they?
Oh, it's got to be last.
What rank, Tim?
Fourth. Oh no, it's going to be fifth because they used to have 5 teams.
Because the Colts used to be in the
Colts have
AFC
more.
East.
I love
I
that
just thought that
stat.
was hilarious.
I love
Also-
that stat.
Also, for nobody that cares, I used to pull for the Jets when they had Wayne Corbett on that team and Curtis Martin. I love that Jets team back in the day. But whatever. I lost interest when like Chad Pennington took over because he couldn't complete a pass over 15 yards. And fight me on that. Anyway, bonus points. Where did Chad Pennington go to college? Does anybody know?
Oregon?
No, smaller
UFC?
school.
Oh,
Smaller school. Smaller.
Wow.
Same place Randy Moss went.
Oh,
Doesn't help.
Bowling Green. Marshall. excuse
We
me.
are Marshall. Yeah, Jason got it. And yes, Jason, this doesn't make any sense. I hated Vinny Testaverde when in college, but I ended up liking him in the NFL. Mike.
Huh?
I guess for the steal.
Yeah, give him the 3-point for the steal.
3-point for the steal.
Okay.
Which team built the Buffalo Bills 20-19 in Super Bowl 25 in 1991? The first Super Bowl decided by 1 point.
Cowboys?
Ooh, that's a good guess because they did beat the Bills on their
And they won 3 Super Bowls in the early 90s. So if it's
But-
not the Cowboys,
Right, it is not
San
the
Francisco?
Cowboys.
then it was
It
the
is-
Packers.
It is not the no. The Packers didn't win till like late to mid 90s with Brett Favre. It is the New York Giants with Phil Simms, I believe.
Oh, that makes a little sense, I suppose. Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
have guessed that though.
And then here's the 1 point question. And I feel like this would have been hard to get. I feel like this one was hard. Who was the first Jacksonville Jaguar running back to rush for more than 10,000 yards?
Fred Taylor.
Damn, Mike. Damn, you are good.
That's the fantasy football coming out there.
Yeah, it was Fred Taylor. Mike got it without even blinking. Well done, sir. All right, I'm gonna
I
throw
gotta feel
these.
knowledgeable every once in a while here. So
No,
All right, let's get off
dude.
the sports. Get off the sports.
All right, Mike. All right, Mike. Give us some
right.
Star Wars questions. Let's appeal to our base once
Yep.
more.
That's right.
Yep.
Speaking of pandering,
Yep, all good. Okay, so I don't have any multiple choice here. These are just
that's fine.
questions
Oh, Bob
and
and
answers.
I are Gen Xers. We don't need multiple choice.
So there's 6 questions on each card.
Bring it.
I
All
could
of
just alternate
Categories.
and then see. I guess. All right, we'll start with Bob on the first question. Who fired at Boba Fett's ship as it departed Cloud City?
As it departed Cloud City. Oh, Cloud City. Boba Fett's leaving.
That's called Bespin.
Hmm?
Bespin is Cloud City.
Yeah, but who fired?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
telling you
that's
the answer, dude.
Oh.
I'm just dropping other facts.
I'm gonna have to say
Don't look at the chat.
Chewbacca.
You are correct. It was Chewbacca.
I had my eyes closed. I didn't look at the
Right.
chat.
I believe you. I believe you
Yeah.
because I know Bob's a
don't
Star
think
Wars
you did.
nerd.
I was like picturing the scene in my head.
Yeah.
Who was there?
Well, you would have been like 50-50 with Chewbacca and Lando, right? Like one or
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah.
You'd have been good.
Whoever's the Falcon.
I want to know in the chat while Mike asks the next question what everybody thinks of Acolyte so far, the newest Star Wars series. I will save my comments.
Oh.
I will save my comments for when we're done. Mike, give me one. Give me a good one.
So apparently, this whole card is about Boba Fett. So
Okay.
so you know. All right. Tim, who did Boba Fett fire 4 blaster bolts at in Cloud City?
Who did he fire 4 blaster bolts at? So, it would have to be. Is it? It's not going to be Chewbacca again. So it's going to be Lando.
No, it was Luke.
Was it Luke?
So Tim was incorrect, and Bob with the steal. It was Luke.
Good job,
Yeah,
Bobby.
they're trying to lure him to the place where they're gonna carbonite.
It's okay, Jasmine. I was a late adopter, so like I've watched them, but I don't have any trivial knowledge. But you got some of your answers here. Oh, sorry, I was going for your yeah, Nick's had it. Yeah, so yeah, some people are starting to like it, it looks like. I heard the first couple episodes were not that good. I haven't watched it, but that seemed to be, it started slow.
All right, give Bob his next question.
All right, Bob. Who prevented Boba Fett from firing at Chewbacca in the carbon freeze chamber?
Darth Vader.
Bob is 3-0 right now. Bob.
I knew that
Boba
one.
Fett scenes. Have you seen all my Boba Fett paraphernalia? I know.
I was like, how many hats and shirts does this guy have of the Mandalorian? I'm like catering to him here.
Mike,
this
when you were like,
but I
when you were like,
this
these
card.
are all Boba Fett questions, I was like, well, shit.
Yeah, so we'll finish this card, and then I got others I can pull.
That would have been like, oh, hey, we're gonna do all Indiana sports questions, Mr. Mike Rice. Let's go. Which Pacer is the greatest 3-point shooter of all time? Who's the greatest Celtic to come out of French Lick, Indiana? Who's the greatest quarterback to come from out of the University of Tennessee and that led the Colts to their most recent Super Bowl?
Ooh, I know that
we
one.
might as well just do
Who
this.
Who is the only Indiana-born Major League Baseball Hall of Famer?
Ooh, Jamie Moyer.
Actually,
was it not Jamie Moyer?
There's 2 now. I like.
Oh, okay.
The most recent was Scott Rowland.
Oh, but Jamie Moyer was in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, I don't. Is he?
He should be. I mean, shouldn't you get in for playing for 73 years?
Yeah, I mean, he was okay for most of those years. All right, we'll get back on topic.
Okay,
here.
sorry. But you did like that category, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, I know. What are the odds I pulled this one with Mr. Boba Fett hat over there? Okay, where are we at? Are we back to? We're on Tim now.
It's me.
What mining outpost did Boba Fett track the Millennium Falcon to?
Oh, it's Cloud City in Bespin. Yeah.
Yeah, we've mentioned that already a couple times now. What creature, Bob? What creature swallowed Boba Fett whole?
It's the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know the name of that thing, but even I remember that.
I knew that one. Damn it.
And Tim, what actor played Boba Fett?
Oh, hold on. Is it well, it's not Tamora Morrison because he plays him now. This is it begins.
Ooh, did we stop Tim on an actor question?
Yeah. Well, it's easy when he hasn't been in anything else.
Yeah, it's a French dude.
No, it's a British dude, but he's got his last name begins with B. What is it?
Oh, that is correct.
It's Jeremy Bullock.
I don't remember it.
You got it.
Wow.
I got it.
I went.
I'm doing this as hard as I possibly can, to quote the Buddha Knights.
You're white knuckling that.
I got Jeremy Bullock.
Yeah,
I'm so good.
Seppy is a 10 o'clock, 10:30 type of guy. So we let him go a while ago.
And that's 9 o'clock Central Time. So he's like really old.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to throw Seppy under the bus.
Yeah.
And as Tim said, he turned
I think that was hilarious. I saw that where it's him when he's doing his
Parks and Rec filibuster
speech. Yeah, the filibuster. And he's like giving the idea what he said, and it's all done just to that speech. That was fantastic.
Ooh, what part of Boba Fett's costume is actually made functional, then determined? Is it the wrist launching grappling hook? Or is it the jetpack?
Or is it the jetpack? Yeah. What are those called?
No way the jetpack was made real back
screaming-
then. It's got to be the little grappling hook.
I'm going to say the grappling hook. So we'll wait for a Soul Skiddo to tell us.
Okay. On to a
Oh,
new
the
card that
flamethrower, dude.
Wow.
Wow. At least Bob and I were both wrong.
Yeah. I played Old Republic,
right.
and that my bounty hunter, that's what he had as a flamethrower. He just cooked everything.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric got it too. Nice.
Yep.
All right. I've got
Nice.
another Star Wars trivia card here, and luckily there's no Boba Fett on the back of it. So
Woo.
I'm out.
all right. we'll start with Tim this time. Who had no love for the Empire, according to Han Solo?
Oh, it's Lando.
Correct.
Lando Calrissian. That's why they go to Bespin. He's got no love for the Empire.
Yeah.
Bob, what type of craft were the Century ships that patrolled the space around the Death Star?
TIE fighters?
Correct.
That was my guess. That was
I
my
would have
guess.
got one right. Damn it! All right.
Hey, somebody text me
Tim,
real quick. Oh,
Yeah. Tim, what did Luke fall down to escape from Vader in Cloud City?
I mean, it was like an air shaft.
I'll give that to you. They call it the
Yeah.
core shaft,
Yeah,
but the most
it's-
important part is that you said
it's the right idea.
shaft.
that's right.
So we'll allow it. No hawk
Yeah.
to it.
Just talking about shaft, baby.
No. Nope. That
Not
was
the
he was
garbage
escaping
chute.
the stormtroopers in the
In A New Hope.
Yep.
All right. Back to Bob. What Central American country were the exterior shots of Yavin's moon filmed in?
Mm.
Oh. The new dude's from there. I want to say Argentina.
That is not Central America, Bob.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry. That dude's from
Central
there. Oscar,
American country.
Old
There's
Zealand.
only about,
There's like 4 or 5.
yeah.
Is it Bolivia?
No.
No.
That's South America. Guatemala.
Correct.
Nice.
The Oscar, what's his name? Is from there.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. He wanted, and that's why he said like he wanted to be when he was being Poe. He was like, okay, but I want my character to be from Yavin 4 because that's where he's actually from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Good for him.
This one is too easy to be on here, but I guess we'll give Tim a layup here. What is the predominant color of R2D2's chassis?
Oh God. I guess it's
Really?
white with blue highlights.
Yeah, it's white.
Or is he
White
blue
is
with
the-
white highlights?
Listen, don't be racist.
White is the predominant color. I guess we'll go back to Bob since Tim made his layup.
Yeah, no kidding. Major layup.
Hey, you got to make the layups, man.
Oh,
Dude.
wow.
They
How
still
many
count.
lightsaber blows did Luke and Vader exchange in Dagobah's tree cave before Luke struck Vader's head off? Oh, spoiler.
It's a vision.
Yeah, it's not real.
I know.
Man, like
Spoiler.
4, maybe 3 or 4.
Pick one.
What is your
4.
final answer, Bob?
4.
Incorrect. Tim, would you like to steal?
I'm gonna say 2.
3 was the correct answer.
Oh, I changed it. I was gonna guess 3. I doubted myself.
Yeah,
Nick's had it. I feel
3.
like Nick's has gotten a lot of these right.
he
Oh,
has
come
gotten
on.
a lot of them
Over
right.
there. All right, I'll
That
pull
was a
another
tough
one because clearly the chat's enjoying this trivia, and at least we got 2 active participants here. I don't know what the score is. The points don't matter. All
Points don't matter.
Exactly.
As long as I win.
It's fair. I have my victory tonight. I'll take it.
Let's see. No Boba Fett on the back of this card, so we'll see, Bob.
Lame.
Spoilers.
Back to Bob for the start here.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett's my answer.
really? This one's too easy too. Who is also known as the Dark Lord of the Sith?
Vader.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's like it's so obvious. Yet, like, is that really the answer? It's
Yeah,
not
I was like,
that
well, let me
obvious.
sure I'm okay. Yeah.
Tim, what did the crew of Leia's consular ship shut down after suffering a severe laser hit? That's tough.
Hold on. So that was a Carillion Corvette that got shut down. What did they shut down?
I gotta guess. I don't know.
The shields?
Shaft is not a correct answer.
And yeah, that is the Tantive 4. Was it the shields?
Shields is incorrect.
Is
Bob, would you like to try and
I want to say like
Tim, I'll give
reactor 4 or something like that.
technically incorrect.
Is it just the reactor?
It's the main reactor.
Ah,
Again
so
with
close.
Nick.
Star Wars
Nick's
knowledge here.
all over it.
I mean, the specific reactor name is pretty impressive. All right. I don't know if there were 4 or more, but
that one R2 unit had a bad motivator, but that was
It
not.
did. It was not on the Corellian.
Yeah.
Corvette.
It was not on
The flux capacitor. Yes.
It was not on the and this one's got a bad motivator. You got to whine like Luke does.
Yeah. Uncle Owen. Yeah.
Okay. Back to
Me.
yeah. Who revealed the secret of Leia's familial relationship to Luke?
Yoda. Or no. It was Obi-Wan's Force Ghost.
It was Obi-Wan.
Because Yoda goes, no, there is another. But then Sir Alec Guinness is the one that actually breaks the news. There is another Skywalker.
All right, Bob. What planet did Tarkin use as a test subject for the Death Star's super laser?
Come on. They're on Dantooine,
Alderaan.
Bob. They're on Dantooine. The rebel base is on
Dantooine
Dantooine.
is too remote for us for a
strike. Yeah.
a strike. Yeah.
For
so
a
we
test.
will test it on Alderaan. That's right. It's Alderaan.
It is
Yeah.
Alderaan.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It would,
That's as easy as Vader.
if for some reason Mike had said you were wrong, I'd be like, hold up. Like, no. Bob is 1,000,000% right. We cannot let that one pass. I'm too big of a nerd to be like, no, actually.
Yeah, everybody got that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did Leia remove unintentionally, startling an Ewok?
Whoa. What did she remove unintentionally? What?
What did she remove unintentionally, startling an Ewok?
Oh, her helmet. Or her helmet.
Correct.
Yeah, I thought she said
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I thought Evan, I thought he said fondling an Ewok as
well. Bob, the last question on the card. How did Luke Skywalker address the Emperor when they first met?
Ooh.
We are looking for a quote from Luke Skywalker. What did he address the Emperor as when they first met?
Wow, I don't know.
No, Andrew. Sup, bro, is not the correct answer. Neither is sup, homie.
And also incorrect from Evan. Hey, it's me, Bob from work.
I don't know. I can't think of it. Do you know it, Tim?
I don't. I'm going to steal Nix's answer and say
Your Excellence.
Your Excellence, but also I feel like Justin's is pretty good with murderer.
That is an excellent guess. It is very close. It is Your Highness.
Whoa, well done.
Yeah, man, that was a tough one.
Well
Yeah, very
done.
very specific quote there, huh?
Now, if it had been a Boba Fett line, I'd have got it because he's only got like 2.
Yeah, he's got 2. Mike,
He's no use to be dead.
I know you're not as familiar maybe with like all of Star Wars like Bob and I are. But if you were going to pick your favorite Star Wars character from the original trilogy, so that's A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, who is your favorite?
Honestly, I would pick Yoda because of his knowledge and the mystery kind of surrounding him. You don't really know a whole lot about him, but I think that's part of the draw to his character.
So, Mike, great pick. Great pick. I will say that as somebody who was, you know, in their, well, I guess I was 20 or 21, actively awaiting for more Star Wars to come out before the prequels came out. And Yoda's a great pick. Bob, is it somebody other than Boba Fett, or is Boba Fett your favorite character from the OG Star Wars?
From the OG Star Wars, yeah, I'd probably say Boba Fett, as cliche as that may be. Although I do love me some R2-D2, and the expressions that he's able to give with just beeps and boops is fantastic. You know,
sure.
Like the whole part where like he's talking to C-3PO and he says like, and he's like, no, they don't like you, and I don't like you either. He's like,
I don't.
And the captain says, sad beep.
Yeah. And I don't like you either. No, it's brilliant. Yeah. I think for a long time Han Solo is my favorite, but as I've gotten older, I really like the arc of Luke Skywalker. I just really do. I like his development and all of his.
Okay.
I don't know. I think because I think Han was so cool. Like Han was like the cool dude. But if I was going to be any of those characters, 100%, Bob.
Yeah.
Nobody makes that pose sexier, like better, right? But like I, as a kid, wanted to be Luke because it's like, oh, well, I could be found and to be discovered to have these hidden talents. It's just like Harry Potter or the guy from The Last Starfighter. You know what I mean? Like anything where you're like, oh,
into the rough kind of a thing.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm living this meaningless life. But then, and yeah, Luke is very whiny early on. But Luke is so good. I love Luke. I love his development. Luke Skywalker became my favorite character over time. Han was OG, but I also loved Indiana Jones. Even though you could not convince me they were the same person. Like, no, that's Indiana Jones and that's Han Solo. Han Solo is just the coolest MFer to walk in the room, right? Like, that's Han. Yeah. Somehow was cooler than Lando, which is tough to do. But I think I just identified with Luke so much, like just wanting to be more, you know, and everything. And so I guess I was a whiny little brat, Kim. So kiss my grits. But Yoda, I mean, Yoda's amazing. Gosh, like Yoda, Mike, you nailed it, right? I think it's also why people love Boba Fett so much, is you get these little snippets of this character, but everybody wants more. Right. Yoda was set up a little better for that than Boba Fett. Boba Fett was almost like a throwaway kind of character. But Yoda, Yoda is amazing. They still haven't even said what race Yoda is. And we've only ever seen 2 other aliens of that species ever. Right. I mean, we've seen 1 million Wookiees now. We've seen, thousands of Ewoks. Twi'leks and Zabraks and all of those other ones that are awesome. But but yeah, Yoda's an amazing pick. An amazing pick. Now, Mike, out of the prequels, who's your favorite character?
Oh. Wow.
Bob, you're next, so be ready.
I'm ready.
I've got mine.
Wow.
I mean, I know mine.
Okay.
Gungan
There's
Chief.
well, the character, even though there's some times where he's kind of annoying, especially in the way that they changed Anakin into Darth Vader is actually what makes the prequels for me. Just
Sure.
his transition into becoming part of the Sith, I think, is just so fascinating to see, like, somebody with so much power slowly turn to the dark side. And even though there's some weird moments mixed in there and how he courts Padme, take it or leave all that, I
Dude,
just find that transition fascinating. And then finally, in the third movie, where he actually turns into Darth Vader, I think is one of my favorite parts of all of the movies, actually.
no, listen, this isn't the Seppy we're fighting and arguing over. Like, I just want to hear, like the character you love, and I'm here for it.
I was brought into the Star Wars universe on the prequels, so that's the thing that you have to understand. I was brought in very late by a kid, and a
lot of people that came in later, like the prequels, have an attachment to the prequels. So no judgment, dude. Like that's a genuine question. Like, I think that's
real
totally
quick.
Fair.
I want to add, I love General Grievous.
Grievous is a badass, dude.
It's just some of his fight scenes and what he's capable of doing with the lightsabers. I'm like, this guy is a killing machine. Of course, he gets dispatched by Obi-Wan, but still, I just loved what he was capable of doing, from a fighting standpoint.
Who's your Star Wars guy from the prequels?
I gotta go with Obi-Wan. I mean, it just kind of shows why he's kind of a badass. I think the second one's one of my favorites because he does a lot of the fighting. He fights Grievous. He shoots with a blaster.
In the third one,
so it's uncivilized. Sorry, third one. I'm a huge fan of the Obi-Wan. I always use the hello there, all the time. I'm a big fan of Obi-Wan in the original. And I used to love the old memes where it says, how are you falling for this Anakin when you got Daddy Wan sitting right next to him,
like, I love Obi-Wan. I think I loved Obi-Wan from the OG series. I thought he was an awesome character. I love what Ewan McGregor did with that character.
I love Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's fantastic and everything. So I'm already kind of biased. I thought Qui-Gon was really cool. Not enough, right? Grievous is amazing. I thought Maul is amazing, but Obi-Wan's my dude. Obi-Wan's my dude. Oh, and hi, what up, Andrew? Hope you're wearing sleeves. Oh yeah, the stupid. Oh, Andrew called it.
Sleeveless has entered the chat. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, Mike, out of the new series, come on, where you knew where this was going.
Oh wow. I'm gonna need a second on that.
That's fine. Bobby, you got one?
Out of the new series, it's kind of tough to say, honestly. Like, I'm fond of Kylo Ren because he went to school like a stone's throw from where I live at, so I've got that little attachment to it. But like, I don't know. I kind of almost like the sarcastic Luke. I mean, like the lightsaber throwaway, maybe not so much, but that whole part where Luke is standing there at the end and Kylo's fury, and he's in that
Dude, that Luke fight is so good.
Fire! And they're just trying to kill him, and he's like not really there. Spoiler alert. But like, I really enjoyed that part. So
also, why Luke is one of my favorite characters out of Star Wars. But I will say, for similar reasons, I really liked Rey. I think Daisy Ridley gave a very good performance. I don't know that she was given a lot to do with it. to be honest. But I just liked how tough she was. I liked her resilience. I don't know that I love the end of the whole thing and how it all
Moving
resolved.
rocks.
But I did like that weird dynamic between her and Kylo as they're trying to figure it out. She's still trying to, even in the Last Jedi and even in the Return, or whatever the last one's called.
I remember.
Yeah, but like even then, like in that last movie, she's still trying to figure out who she is and what she's doing. And I think that that's what gets missed in all the hate on that last movie, is that it's her finding her identity and choosing who she's going to be. You know what I mean? And like what she wants to do. I think she's a cool character. I think she did a really good job with everything that she could. But I just love those really tough utilitarian characters, right? Like she knows how to fix a ship. You know, she can fly. You know, she had like not only a bond with Luke, but she had a bond with Han and Chewie. You know, like
got kind of a funny joke about the that trilogy. So you know, Wookiees live to be like, you know, a long time, right? What is it, like 600 years old or something like that? So a human is almost like a dog to a Wookiee. And so had Chewie had Han spayed or neutered, he probably would have lived longer than what he did.
Oh my God.
He 100% would have.
Yeah.
Nix, I'm not going to disagree with it being horribly scripted, but I mean, you say she's a Mary Sue, Luke's a Mary Sue. I mean, what do you want? I mean, they're the same character. And maybe that's also why I like Rey. But like Rey and Kylo in The Last Jedi, like and I know Dan hates this fight scene, but I love the throne room fight scene. I think it's a terrible ending for Snoke, personally.
Yeah.
And Nix, that's fine.
It made him meaningless.
Yeah, it totally made Snoke meaningless. That fight scene's amazing. I don't care what Dan says. Dan talks about how that fight scene's so horribly choreographed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I watch it and I love it. That's me. I don't expect everyone to feel the same way that I do.
Well, they just could have done so much more with Snoke, and he just dies, and that's it.
And Mike, you're right. They should have done 100. Snoke should have been the main villain in the third movie.
And there's a lot of characters I think Star Wars does that with. It's like, oh, that character's awesome, and he's barely. I mean, look at case in point, Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yeah. and then even when he had his own show, they had to bring in the Mandalorian to make it.
Darth Maul, though. Darth Maul too, right? I mean, they killed Darth Maul. They bring him back.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's not consistent from the older movies, and that bothers some people. He was sort of retconned into being Rey's grandfather, but the reemergence of General Palpatine and the rise of Skywalker, I thought was pretty
Rise
cool.
of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, hold on. So, Mike, I don't expect you to know this, but there was a graphic novel series in the 90s called Dark Empire. I believe it's called Dark Empire. And it involved basically Luke finding out that like Palpatine had like all of these clones made of himself, and they were in like various levels of development. And so like the whole thing is that he is coming out, like Luke discovers this, and he's got this like epic battle with Palpatine. I really thought Last Skywalker was going to be like a different version of that, right? But with Rey instead of Luke. So it happens, you know, like 40 years later instead of 10 years after, you know, Return of the Jedi. And that could have been so good. That could have been so cool. But instead they just say somehow he comes back. I agree with everyone else. That's bullshit. Like, do better. Try like a little bit harder. But yeah. So Nix, dude, it's Dark Empire, right? It's called Dark Empire. And then, Heir to the Empire was really good, but that is what introduced Thrawn, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, Timmy's on, baby. Ooh, best lightsaber duel. I know mine, but I will let you guys say what you want to say first.
Well, I will, because I already kind of mentioned it, but the
Go for it.
Obi-Wan and General Grievous, I just I love that matchup. It's one of the reasons I like Grievous so much is just what he's able to do with the lightsabers that nobody else can do just because of how he's configured.
Built.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Exactly.
I mean, Mike, that's tough to argue with.
It's
That's
tough.
tough to argue with. I love that scene brought me back into that movie. I will tell you that. Like Obi-Wan doing stuff, and then when Grievous like not only has the two, but like pops out the extra arms, and it's
Yeah.
all the lightsabers from the Jedi Masters that he's
Jedi.
already defeated. And you're like,
Pretty awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude. Bobby, what's yours?
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's not really a duel, but to me, when I think about Star Wars and what makes Star Wars is like the epic screaming music. And at the end of episode 1,
do we have the same one?
when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are fighting Maul, and you've got the music is blaring and they're fighting.
Yeah.
Yes, the
That's
Duel
a
of the
great
Fates. Fantastic. And to me, that is Star Wars. Like I could have done with like 30 minutes less pod racing and like an extra 10 minutes of that like lightsaber battle.
Bob, that's
But
my
it's
same.
fantastic.
That's my same one. That's my.
Yeah.
I have the same one as you. It is really hard to argue with how good
Hi, Andrew.
one that Mike brings up. Yeah, Andrew, we're gonna be done soon. We
Yeah.
I wanted to go to like 11. So
Okay.
we're about there. But yeah, Mike, you and Bob named my favorite ones. I would have defaulted, even though it's technically not a duel, I would have gone to Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting Darth Maul, because that's how good Darth Maul was, is it took two of them to take him on.
Bring him down. Yeah.
And that as a Star Wars fan, okay, so this will hit a little different for Mike than maybe it did for Bob and I. But as a Star Wars fan, where you wait from 1984 when Return of the Jedi came out to 1999 when A New Hope, or not A New Hope, Phantom Menace.
Yep.
And the second that Darth Maul pops out that second blade, that the theater, Mike, the theater went insane. I was there opening night, first show possible to see at the AMC Theater on the south side of South Bend. Greg, my friend Greg, who Bob knows, he and I camped out for tickets. We stayed up all night to get tickets for the first possible showing of that movie. We were within the first 20 people in line, but that is the first and only movie that I have stayed up all night to get a ticket to. And when the second that Darth Maul popped that second blade out of the hilt of that lightsaber, it made it all worthwhile. And it was so impactful.
It made up for the cheesy kid in the plane, like, you know, using the ship, like,
that's
pod racing.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, no, go back to the other stuff.
Go back to the fight. When that fight happened, it was so epic. You are not wrong. Return of the Sith out of the prequels is my favorite because it has so many great scenes in it. I love the opening scene where they're on the ships, where they're in the A-wings trying to, and the scavenger droids are on the ship, and they're trying to get, you know, even just to the Star Destroyer to get to Palpatine, right, to rescue him from Dooku. Like that whole, there's so many great scenes in Revenge of the Sith. And it almost even gets overshadowed. The Grievous almost gets overshadowed by how many great scenes there are in Revenge of the Sith. But man, Maul popping that second blade out, and then watching a Jedi like legit kill somebody for the first time in a movie, was just fundamentally incredible to my Star Wars fandom.
I mentioned Grievous just because it was easy, and I had already talked about it before.
Mike, I love that part too. Like when I don't know why he doesn't do that move all the time. You know?
Oh, Mike, seriously, that's number 2, dude. That's number 2, and it's really close. It's
the
really
reality is it's the fight between Kenobi and Anakin that actually turns him into Vader, which is really my favorite, because what it means for that movie and how it turns from that point forward is why I like that movie so much.
I
So
don't know if
Mike,
you've seen, they've got like where they're doing the practice and they are like full on, full
Yeah.
speed. Like there was no speeding up of that fight. They were
Yeah.
going at it that
No,
quickly. They were that like in sync. It was a
they
really,
trained
good
with
fight.
Olympic fencers to get that
Yeah.
battle down. And the other thing, Mike, here's the wild thing about that, Mike, and I will just relay another experience from my high school years, sadly, is I remember, so I had a couple of friends, Bob knows, Greg, we would play the Star Wars role-playing game and talk endlessly about, oh, well, I hear in a Star Wars movie, if they ever do one, you're going to see that Obi-Wan throws Anakin in a volcano and then Anakin becomes Darth Vader, and that's why he needs all the stuff, and then to see that realized, I mean, we had been talking about that for so long, and to actually see that realized was so satisfying and so fulfilling. Even though I had other problems, again, why Revenge of the Sith is my favorite of the prequels, because it actually, that battle's really good. I don't care about the meme. I've got the high ground. I mean, that's hilarious now, right?
Right.
But it's so good. It's so good, dude.
I love the meme where they have the picture with Vader and Luke when they were fighting in, I think it was
Empire or in
I
Return
think it
of
was
the
Empire.
Jedi.
He's like, Obi-Wan taught you well because Luke's got the high ground.
Nice.
That was funny.
But yeah, Mike, you make great points. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get into it a little bit is that I knew specifically that you had a very different approach to Star Wars than Bob and I. Bob and I came at it from the same side, right? We came at it from the same angles. So we could argue our own points back and forth, blah, 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 but we're going to be doing the same old BS. I knew you had a totally different perspective with your approach to the franchise, the series, the universe, and all that stuff. So I really appreciate that and wanted to be able to talk about that and show some of that.
I mean, the fact is, Revenge of the Sith is the Star Wars movie I've watched the most. So
Yeah,
it's
dude.
actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I love seeing Darth Vader become Darth Vader, how that all happens. Minus the weird porting.
You don't want that part either.
It's my favorite.
No.
Yeah.
Mike, how many of the shows have you watched? Very many or no?
The Mandalorian really pulled me in. It's great.
Baby.
It's good.
I was a little, I've talked about this before. I was a little miffed at like season 2 because I felt like it became a fetch and retrieve quest show. Like you're going to go here, you're going to talk to
Here's
this
your
person.
mission. Go do this.
They're going to send you on this mission, but you're going to run into
this.
these people. They're going to tell you to go get something else before you can go do that. And then you're going to come back to the original planet and you're going to return the thing and get the stuff.
Yeah, it's like playing a role-playing game.
Predictable there, and then season 3 completely made up for it and was fantastic. So I love the Mandalorian. The Boba Fett had really fun action scenes, but the depth just wasn't really there.
It's a little soft. It's a little soft.
Yeah,
I have not seen the Clone Wars or Ahsoka.
Cartoons are fantastic.
Yeah, cartoons are really good.
The Acolyte,
Rebels is good.
Yeah. You have to get past the first season. First season has those god awful Wookiees. I cannot stand the art direction they went with those Wookiees. I hate it. But once you get past that, the story of Rebels is really good.
Yeah, heard good things about those.
Mike, I would recommend Andor. I think you might like good. Andor. Andor is really good. And then
I need to give that one a shot.
Did you watch Rogue One?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I really
did you like Rogue One?
It's good. It wasn't like, it didn't blow me away like it does for a lot of people, but like I get the message and everything.
Sure.
Sure. But yeah,
okay.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
So let me tell you that I am on a similar platform as you with Rogue One. I don't think it's as good as everyone says it is. I think it does a lot of things really well. It's got some really big flaws for me. But Andor takes a character that I did not care about at all for Rogue One and makes him an amazing amazing Star Wars character. And Kim, you are way too nice to be K2SO, even though I know any character voiced or played by Alan Tudyk should be everyone's spirit animal.
Yeah.
Mike, did you watch Firefly?
You are being
No.
rescued. Please do not resist.
Mike, did you watch Dodgeball?
Yes.
Steve the Pirate.
Steve the Pirate
is Alan Tudyk. Yar.
I saw him at one of those I think it was C2E2.
I saw him at a Comic-Con once. He was amazing.
Yeah, and he was answering questions and stuff. And a girl asked him, how do you pronounce his last name?
Okay, so Bob, let me just interject real quick. You were at Wizard World and we were in the same Q&A. Yes. Because maybe you and Sarah were there, but like there was a time where you and I were at the same Comic-Con.
Okay.
And we were sitting in on this same Q&A because it was for Firefly. Please continue.
And so a girl asked him, how do you pronounce your last name? And he says, Tudyk. You should try it.
Yeah. Like 2 dicks.
2 dicks.
Yeah, because Morena Baccarin and then Summer Glau were also in on the same. And Summer Glau was very shy. And Alan Tudyk kept he was running that thing and it was so funny.
He was the con man.
He was. I mean, he was. Yeah.
It was really funny because I was sitting next to this guy and he was talking about how good looking
Morena Baccarin was.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, have you seen Homeland? And he was like, no. And I said, oh, well, she gets naked. He's like, oh my God, I am gay and I would love to see that. And it was so funny the way he was going on and on, like how hot she was and that he really would like to see her naked.
Oh yeah, Mike, you should actually watch Resident Alien. It is a very, very good and funny show.
Alan Tudyk's hilarious.
Alan Tudyk plays an alien that has come to Earth to destroy it. But he's got to disguise himself as a human so that he can lay the groundwork.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, he is also Hey in Moana. He is King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph. Alan Tudyk is in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Mike, I dare you to find a flaw in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I dare you. And I mean that in the best way, because Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a deconstruction of horror movies. So the whole point of that movie is it points out all the flaws in horror movies in the most delightful way.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you will really like it. Yeah. He's the Duke of Weselton in Frozen. At Tabletop Rebellion, this is some bullshit. Yeah. But yeah, Mike, Firefly is really good. Resident Alien, I think you would really like. Firefly is a Western in space.
Yeah, it's a space Western. It's so good. Captain Malcolm Reynolds, Nathan Fillion at his best. Like, I think he's fantastic in that. And then, like, I don't know if you've seen Castle, but in Castle, there's a Halloween episode, and he dresses up in his Malcolm Reynolds uniform, and his daughter's like, "Really, Dad? Space cowboy again?" He's like, "What? Space cowboy's cool." Hold on.
So 2 things. First of all, also, have you seen Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog?
I plays Captain Hammer, sitting on his counter still.
Okay, so he plays Captain Hammer. Also, Captain Hammer. I know that Mal from Firefly stands for Malcolm, but
it also means bad.
It does, but what do I call my daughter? Mal.
Yep.
It's not an accident. I'm just saying. Just saying. But I can't call her Malcolm. She's Mallory.
Sure. But yeah, Firefly is one of my favorite shows.
It was a contributing factor, is all I will say.
Nice.
Don't tell Kelly. She's never seen the show, so it won't matter. But I just have to specify that it's not for natural born killers because there's
Natural-born killers.
Mickey and Mallory
well,
Knox. Yeah. Juliette Lewis, which is amazing. Let's
I
be
swear
bad
by my
guys.
beautiful bonnet, I will end you.
Yeah, it's so many good lines. I just rewatched Firefly like 2 months ago, and
Oh, nice.
I did not regret it. The only thing I regret is I couldn't find Serenity on
Big damn
streaming.
hero.
I couldn't find Serenity on streaming, so I've got to like bust out my old DVD of it.
Jane, a man they call Jane.
But anyways, boys,
Anyway, it's time.
it's time. It's time to go. Mike, it's really good to have you back, bud.
It was fun for sure.
Yeah.
I missed you, and I also like I talked about this last week with having Bob on, like being so excited to have Bob back. But like the three amigos are now here. Like
Yeah.
we're entering. Even Mike's seen that movie. We are entering a new era of the Whiskey Wednesday.
You're right. We are.
Mhm.
Here it is. The three amigos.
Will this be like the Targaryen era? Because there's always got to be 3 heads. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I could not ask for a better lineup. I could not ask for a better trio to be able to do this with. So I am so glad that Bob is now a daywalker and can hang out with us. And Mike, I missed you. I'm really glad you're back. I'm glad we're able to be on shows again together. So despite all the crap that I throw at you and I give you a hard time and I love to pick on you, but it's only because I love you and I can't wait to see you again. So
Well, I mean, I made my entire number one pick, based on
I should be
ribbing
so
on your
flattered.
fandom.
I should be so flattered.
And I spent a lot of time trying to justify making that movie a dystopia.
We can tell. We can tell.
It does feel like a dystopia sometimes around here.
It does. It does. But that's Indiana for you. Nick, so good to see you, man. I know you couldn't be on till later, but I really am grateful that you continue to pop on, even though it's late. And Kim, thank you so much. Please let me know if you're going to be at Gen Con. We are untethered this year, so we are able to go around, see people play games and do stuff. And Trevor, Spencer is not appreciated because he can't be bothered to show up on these. So he will continue to be not appreciated.
Okay, he's not watching.
Yeah, he ain't watching. We can say what we want. But no, man, I really appreciate it. Everybody in the chat that like adds in comments, you guys feed the show. You guys are the fuel, keep us going. And I love it. But it is also just an excuse for me to hang out with some of the people that I just like hanging out with the most. So
please hit the thumbs up on your way out.
Dude, I know we got 9 thumbs so far, and I know there were more than 9 people watching at some point in time.
Right. So some of you are dead to me, but the other ones we love. So thank you.
All right, Mike, do you want to sign us off or do you want me to sign us off? We got to figure out like the correct
We got to figure out our order. I thought we were just going to go around.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's going to be Mike, then me, then you. I think that's what it's going to be.
I know, and it's weird because usually I'm like up in that top left spot. And I was going to fix that.
That's because you dropped out to the people's mic.
Yeah, you did. No, you dipped. You're always going to be last now.
Well, I know. Well, I actually changed that before I dipped, and I don't know what the hell happened. I changed a setting on my computer to make sure the time's not wrong anymore, and then my browser freaked out and kicked me.
Well, your computer was trying to time travel.
We told Seppy that was like an FU to Seppy's like.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't listening to this shit.
Sure you did. It was in this like great independent publisher speech. I'm like, oh my god, I'm such a dickhead. I love hearing that at all times.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Oh, I felt so bad too.
All right, Mike, get us out of this crazy thing, man.
Thank you, everybody. Let's get out of here. For the board game rundown, I was Mike.
I've been Tim.
Bob.
We'll see you next week. Bye now. Light show.
We'll see you guys.
Good job, Stonemeyer. A 7.33333 repeating. 333. Heating.
Three.
Heating. heating.
3, 3, 3.